I'm feeling hot, hot, hot. Yeah. Huh? How about that for an opening? Wake up, bitches. Hell yeah.
Are you feeling hot, Danny?
No, actually, I'm exhausted. I carried a microwave up here by myself, and I thought, go get Paul. Paul will help you. It's not that heavy. It's just too big for me to wrap my arms around anyone. It's just awkward. It
bulky.
It weighs something, but it doesn't weigh enough for, go get your buddy and a moving van. But so anyway, I got all the way up here by myself thinking the entire time that is the technology of Martians. A microwave oven?
It really is, yeah.
Oh, my God. It's the craziest tech, and I got it for $80, and I'm carrying it on my back. I would have taken over the Roman Empire with a microwave, and now it's $80 at Fred Meyer's. I was very excited about the thought of carrying thousands of years of technology on my back.
It's pretty crazy to think about, though.
Yeah.
That's a box, and you put food in it, and it's cooked in 30 seconds.
Well, don't be too specific. You can put anything in it, and it's cooked in 30 seconds. If I'd taken over the Roman Empire, there'd have been Christians in there. Well, it's faster. They complain less, Paul. So I got an issue, kids. That I don't even know if I need help or not. That's how perplexed.
Oh, you need help.
I think so. So I want a new guitar teacher. And I want
Again?
And I want a very this guy, nobody's fault, just didn't work out. I'm not used to going to someplace else and searching for parking in Ballard or Fremont or wherever the hell it was. Just it was more hassle than I wanted it to be. And he plays gigs and stuff every now and again, I think, and he takes days. It didn't work out. He's a nice guy. No problems with the guy. But this time I said, I'm going to write an ad saying exactly what I want and put it in Craigslist. That's what I'm going to do. Write a list saying about exactly what I want. Well, apparently, exactly what you want when you put it in Craigslist is gay sex. That's apparently, because that's the offers I'm getting.
I want a man who can just strum my strings.
Yeah, okay, you're not that far off. Here's where I got buried, apparently. And then I asked on my Twitter, I said, what's happening? And they said, you're an idiot. That's what's happening. I wrote, first words are, looking for a guitar teacher. I think it was in the subject. I don't know, Amy was doing the typing. And then under that, in the actual ad, it says, looking for a mature guitar teacher.
Oh, you're looking for an older man.
Mature means gay sex. Everything seems to be gay sex on Craigslist, but I didn't know that at the time. No, if you want some gay sex and you're a really good guitar teacher, we'll talk. But I will also pay you for get pick. So I said, want a mature guitar teacher, and that is what I should have said or found another way to say. Here's what I'm telling you guys, not a man. I don't want any more kids. I don't want any more 25-year-olds.
Yeah,
God bless them. They seem to be the best guitar players. They're amazing. Some of these. This guy, Jake Black, that I were an actual virtuoso. And then I saw him somewhere playing the piano in a club. And I didn't even know he played piano, let alone super badass. So he was great. But he was 25. Mm-hmm. He was unaware of this radio station, yet aware of the Cube. He had to be fired immediately. Although I didn't fire him. I said I'm moving to Guam with Hopper Daver. I forget what I said. I don't think conversation.
I don't see you wanting to learn Cardi B.
Right. That's it. But he would teach me anything I wanted to learn. He just often had to learn it first. Where somebody like my brother, who's a crappy run-of-the-mill fun guitar player, I'd say, hey, do you know this song? You go, yeah. It goes like this, right? And I'd say, yeah, right. For a 25-year-old, you'd say, hey, how do you play Black Dog? And they'd go, oh, it's not really about a dog.
And you don't want him sitting there during your lesson looking it up on YouTube and going, oh, yeah, I can teach you that.
Which they do while saying, well, you look at my page on YouTube, you can even subscribe, which I would happily do. I don't know what it means to you if I do, but I would do that. No problem. And then, here's a lesson 2 one time. The guy comes back and says, dude. And I knew what was coming right away. He said, you're totally famous. I said, yeah, I know. I'm totally famous.
But you want somebody who knows that going in.
Going in, don't look me up. Ask your mom. She'll know. I'm a killer with moms. Moms love me. So I put the ad in, needed a mature guitar teacher. And then I asked my Twitter guys, I said, hey, here's what I said. Is this bad? And they all went, yes. A mature guitar teacher means, will you touch me in my private spots?
Really?
Yeah. One guy asked if I wanted to be touched up wearing my bathing suit covers. Yes, but not.
But was he good at teaching you guitar still?
Well, this happened yesterday.
Okay.
And so most of them, I got one real answer, and I don't trust my wife even a little bit. She said, "Oh no, it masks your email address. You don't have to come up with a new." I said, "Have it sent to you. I don't want to say need a guitar teacher because I'm an idiot. Sincerely, Danny Bonaduce. I don't want to do that. So let's use yours." And she said, "No, no one will know.
It's anonymous.
But you write an ad with your address in it.
No,
It
Yeah.
changes it to a
It
Craigslist
changes
ad.
It goes
it.
to a Craigslist ad, a Craigslist address, and then Craigslist
forwards
sends
to
it
you.
to
Right?
you.
Exactly. Well, believe it.
And then when you write back to them, it's no longer anonymous.
Right.
so-
Well, that's cool. When I write back to him, I'm answering the mature guitar teacher kind of thing.
yeah.
So I got one guy that answered my ad, and he said, "Hey," and I'm not positive it said "hey," but I knew I was being yelled at. "Hey." Oh, because the rest of the ad says, "Here's what I want to do. I want to get a set list. I want to play and sing in bars. Why don't you help me put together a set list, teach me those songs. We'll have a bunch of fun. It'll take a long time. We'll start at 1 lesson a week. And if it works out, maybe even go to 2. You make a whole bunch of money." I didn't say all of that. But,
Sounds simple.
and we'll jam. He said, "Hey, it'd take you at least 2 years to be able to even remotely jam with me." So I wrote back, "Thank God that won't be happening." So yeah, I forget where else I am on this. I got surprised. Amy says normally on, because I've never done anything with Craigslist before, as far as you know, and she said, "Oh, you should get 1,000 answers by now, and you have 1."
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah, that's what
That is
she
weird.
said. That's actually what she said. Though.
Especially offering work.
Yeah. So I think, but I mean, to a skilled laborer, if you're going to consider it work, it's the guy's got to have some real skills, guy and or girl.
Where did
I
she
wouldn't
post
mind
this?
a mature chick would be kind of, I think, interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Some 50-year-old lady, that really
Sure.
knows how to jam. I've been taking these guitar tricks lesson or ultimate guitar on my computer, and my teacher, is, I'm going to go with 55 years old and shreds. It's kind of funny
nice.
to watch. She's in a house coat and she's talking about, now remember, when you learn to do these drills, you got to do them now and then. You need to practice. Remember, practice is very important. Now, once you can do it fast, it'll sound like this. And then she goes, and she's crazed Eddie Van Halen in a house dress. It's pretty cool. So I wouldn't mind that. I think Amy frowns on it.
She doesn't want you to have a
Oh,
female
yeah.
guitar teacher?
I don't know, because not in this sense, but just in general in life, I don't trust me a whole lot to make good decisions.
Yeah.
So, it's not unlikely that some lady's going to come to my house, 55 years old, because now I'm using my teacher as a thing. Teach me how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb or whatever, or some Van Halen. They're very similar.
Yeah.
And we're going to
Same
fall
chords.
madly in love and run off and play guitar
It
in
could
Hawaii.
happen.
But you notice there, see, that was bad. I didn't just say, "We'll run off and play guitar." I said, "We'll run off and play guitar in Hawaii." What that means to a person that might be my wife, I've given this too much consideration. I've already moved me and my crazy guitar teacher
Yeah, which
to
island?
Hawaii. Well, I don't know. The one we went, Turtle Bay, is
Okay.
that the fancy one? They have a guy doing my job 6 nights a week.
Oh, wow.
And I guess
Well,
he
you got to
needs
take it.
I'm gonna take it. Hawaii for playing guitar. It'll be bitching. So
With
it's,
a new guitar teacher who's 55 and can shred.
yeah, that's the one.
News is brought to you by Les Schwab. President Trump is marking 17 years since the worst terrorist attack on U.S. soil by visiting Pennsylvania. He'll be at the field that became a 9/11 memorial. Donald Trump and his wife Melania will participate in the somber remembrance in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. There are several memorials being held around the Puget Sound area in remembrance of those killed on the September 11th attacks. Spanaway, Marysville, Tacoma, Edmonds, just a couple of those. All the full details are up at KZOK.com.
Does anybody remember anything specific about the plane that went down, aside from all hands were lost, that went down in Pennsylvania?
Flight 93.
It was the one where the guy, it was the one where the guy said to other passengers, "Let's roll."
Let's roll. Yeah.
Famously,
Yep.
it's making me cry a little bit just to think about it now. And apparently, because you kind of wonder, because I'm suspicious of everything. I think everybody that says they didn't do it did it, and I think everybody accused of doing it hasn't done it yet. So I'm suspicious of that. He was still on the phone with his wife when it happened. He was talking, geez, and he
Yeah.
said, put the phone away, and he yelled to the guys, "Let's roll." Oh my God.
Todd Beamer's that guy's name. There's actually a high school here locally named after him.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So KZOK.com if you want to see a listing of the places that are going to be holding memorials if you would like to take part. Human decency took a back seat in Auburn when a man and two teenagers left a clerk suffering a heart attack to die, but not before helping themselves to the cash in the till and several other items in the store. This happened just after 5:30 p.m. They went into a Shell station, Auburn Way South. One of the teens grabbed a pepperoni stick and began to eat it, and then grabbed another one and handed to a teen. As the man went to pay for an item, the clerk tried to charge him for the 2 pepperoni sticks. An argument ensued, and the clerk became upset, went over to the teenagers. As he was talking with them, he collapses to the ground, suffering a medical issue. Instead of calling for help, the teens are seen on surveillance taking the $1 bill back. All 3 of them leave the store, but return a couple of times to steal cigarettes and take all the money from the cash register.
Jeez.
Bad kids.
All while ignoring the unconscious clerk on the ground. 3 minutes pass. Another customer arrives at the store, sees the guy on the ground, calls an ambulance. He is presently on life support. Auburn police are asking if you recognize any of the 3 in this video to call them.
I saw the video. I only saw the one guy in the video that I saw, but if I knew him, I'd go, oh, that's Steve. Yeah, I got this. It's somebody. And even the other thugs probably hate this guy. I mean, you just can't do. There was a thing when I was living
2 of them go to the cash register and steal the money. So it's not just one bad dude.
Right. Okay. They can all burn in Auburn. But there was a woman got in a terrible car wreck in Detroit, injured, dying, according to reports. And people pulled up and robbed her, more than one.
That's
People pulled up and said, how you doing? And you can see what's happening. They're saying while they're rifling her purse or in her shirt, while they're pretending to ask, well, they're actually technically asking, but not caring. Are you all right? Are you all right? And they're getting her stuff. Isn't that awful?
That is awful.
Single-family home prices in King County have dropped for the 3rd straight month after reaching the highest they'd been so far this year. The median home price sales in King County was higher, but has now dropped by about $57,000 since May. The median price in August was $669,000, down from $727,000 in May. So this is the 3rd month in a row that King County has seen a decline in median home prices, and they said these prices are dropping significantly over the past 3 months.
That seems like a big jump in 1 month to go down 50 plus grand.
Yeah, but if you count the jumps up, they were insane. They were up $100,000 a month for some people, for the bigger and more expensive houses in my neighborhood. 100 grand. Well, they said anyway. I don't know if anybody sold and made it true, but they said 10% in the month of blah. Well, 10% on $1 million house, that's $100,000. That's crazy. And another thing I learned on this, I really like Motley Crue. I think that's important. Right?
$415,000. And as prices are starting to really decrease over the past few months, the supply of homes has increased, which was part of the problem when the market was at its highest.
People jumping.
People couldn't find enough houses because there wasn't enough inventory. Yeah. So inventory has gone up significantly. We are looking at 16% more inventory on the market. Around Puget Sound, pending sales are down, by the way, more than 20%.
Wow, it's crazy.
Yeah. If you like to take the HOV lane to work, even when you are not in a high occupancy vehicle, be careful because the Washington State Patrol is watching you.
From cameras and stuff, right?
Yep. This week in particular, Washington State Patrol, it says, will be out in force looking for drivers breaking HOV laws. This will be focused on the freeways between North Pierce County and South Snohomish County, which includes all of King County. Hot spots they'll be watching: I-5 ramps at Northeast 175th, the express lanes, I-405 through downtown Bellevue, Totem Lake. They say they will fine you $136.
And you'll deserve it. If you know what, there's a reason that those things are there. If they don't work, have it, because sometimes you go, well, I'm actually going faster than the diamond lane.
Yeah,
that
right.
thing's not working out. But you're a scofflaw. You're laughing in the face of all this if you're doing that by yourself. And the doll thing, the going around with the blow up doll. Now, does this work, or are you already pulled over so it can't work? the baby in a baby seat in the back seat.
Oh, people have gotten away with it for a long time, especially people who have gotten busted. They've admitted that they did it for a long time.
Yeah, so if I put the sticker on my car that says baby on board, do they really believe me?
I don't know.
I wouldn't believe me. I don't believe me now.
School in Georgia has people talking this morning. It's called the Georgia School for Innovation and Classics.
And they're going to move it out of Georgia?
No. They say there's now one more tool that they have in their disciplinary toolbox, which is a paddle to hit misbehaving children with.
Yeah.
We can't do that.
You can.
Not anymore, I don't think.
Well, let's find out.
This is a canine charter school in Hefzibah.
Oh,
It's a dog school?
Yeah, I thought it was kids.
Well, you can't hit a dog. I'm
No,
with
you
you on
shouldn't
that.
hit
You
a
can
dog.
hit a child. They're sickening. But you can't hit a dog.
So through ninth
Who's going to shepherd my
grade,
Germans?
That's what K-9 is, K through 9.
Oh, kindergarten through 9th.
Yes. They are going to bring back paddling as a form of punishment, but they will not use it without the consent of parents. School officials say they sent consent forms home. They got around 100 back, which is about a third of the
Wow.
parents responding saying they have permission to paddle. The school says we take discipline very seriously. There was a time where corporal punishment was kind of the norm. And
Yeah, when I went to school. I hold the record for Woodland Hills Elementary School, and I only went to the 5th grade. And I don't know if they hit you in kindergarten. I can't remember. But I had 165 SWATs in my career at
In 1 year? Oh, no, through 5th grade.
I don't really
Through
remember.
fifth grade.
I had because I wrote this down in my book.
Yeah.
And they have to research. It's such a nightmare. They have to research everything. So they had to go back to school and get my records to prove that I've been paddled 165
And they
times.
actually wrote that down, like, hey, every time they beat Danny Bonaduce,
yeah,
they
yeah,
made a
they
little
wrote
check
it
mark.
down. Yeah.
Jeez.
But in that day, they didn't call and ask anybody's permission. They just hit you.
Yeah.
So turns out it is still legal in Georgia and 19 other states. I don't know if it's legal in Washington or not, but 20 states total. They said they will not do without the consent of parents. The student will be in private, so this will not be in front of the rest of the classroom.
Right.
They'll place their hands on their knees or on a piece of furniture. They will be struck on the buttocks with a paddle. No more than 3 licks should be given with a 20.
Well, if you're going to do
Certainly
that,
can't do
it's
that.
a kid, for God's sakes.
24-inch
lollipop.
24-inch wooden paddle. So you're for this, Danny?
Well, it did me no harm that I could tell. I don't know. I didn't end up that great, to be honest with you. But I wouldn't do it to Dante, and he's a jerk, and he could use some paddling, to be honest with you. But he's 17 now. That'd be just such embarrassment and humiliation to have a kid, 17-year-old boy, bend over, grab his ankles, and the teacher hit him. Maybe it's cute for a 3rd grader. You're going to get your SWAT, never do it again. So I don't care either way, but I wouldn't sign the thing for an adult kid like Dante.
Sure. But Paul, you've got a 2nd grade, 1st grader.
2nd grader.
Second
and
grade.
yeah, no, I don't think they would ever propose it here in Washington.
Yeah.
But I'm just shocked that they would even be doing it. Georgia shocks me a little less,
Right.
but I am shocked that they would be doing it just in the world that we live in.
That's true.
But we will live in the world that we live in because we don't hit enough children.
I guess so. Text that word right now to 200 for your chance to win, and you'll have more chances throughout the day.
Subway restaurants, $5 footlong. The jingle that got stuck in everyone's head. $5 footlong.
I think mostly just your
Nope.
head.
Yeah.
Seriously?
I like the
think I've ever heard it,
sandwich,
yeah.
but I don't know the jingle.
Derek, you're the fast foot guy.
I couldn't sing it by memory.
Oh my gosh,
Well,
Becky.
there's
Well,
only
there's
like
one guy.
3
Sing
words.
it. Let me hear it.
$5 foot long.
Derek, will you find it for me? $5 footlong. It got stuck in everybody's head but yours.
Yeah, everybody's had,
Apparently, yeah.
but all of the boys on the show. Aside from that, everybody. Oh, let's say what the hell, Tori?
Yeah,
Yeah, do you know this thing?
I've heard it.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I know the promotion, $5 foot long.
Yeah.
Oh, fire somebody.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Didn't have that one on my playlist.
No,
sorry.
man.
Well, this may be the last time you hear that jingle.
Really?
Okay.
Also, the first time we've heard that jingle, oddly enough.
You'll thank me later when it's stuck in your head. I promise
I
you.
bet.
According to the CEO of Subway, they will no longer require every franchise to offer the $5 footlong. They will be allowed to choose for themselves. So franchises, Danny, as you know, you've looked into franchising. They're
have.
very strict rules.
I didn't know that. I thought you paid your money, you wore the T-shirt, and that was your place. It's not. Quiznos, that's what I tried to buy one time.
Yeah.
You got to go kind of to Quiznos school.
Yeah.
And then Quiznos school guys stay with you for the first 3 months of opening of your restaurant to make sure you're measuring the meat exactly correct. It was a huge hassle. Plus, I didn't have the money. Besides those two things.
Well, a lot of the franchisees had complained that they weren't earning any money off of the $5 footlong because meat has gotten more expensive and that the margins were just so slim, if any at all. They weren't making any money. So they have now said, the CEO of Subway, you are not required to offer a $5 footlong.
It makes kind of sense to me. I used to advertise Outback Steakhouse, which I happen to love. So I thought it was great, nice and easy. And I had the menu, and I'd go there, and I'd have the same thing almost every time, a 28-ounce, man, I was a different guy, a 28-ounce porterhouse steak for like $19 or something like that. And so when I'm telling people about it, oh, you guys, you need to go out there, get the 28-pound thing. I finally have a meeting with the heads of Outback, and they said, listen, man, stop that. We don't make any money on that steak. Oh, sorry.
With just one blast, miners in Western Australia unearthed 2 large quartz rocks containing gold, estimated to be worth about $11 million.
Wow, not bad.
They were able to bring the cash to the surface over 4 days. They often just extract about 2 grams of gold per ton. And sometimes they say gold particles are even too small to be seen by the naked eye. This time, 2,200 grams per ton was extracted.
Wow, that's amazing. Ever seen on TV? I don't think anybody, I've been to Australia 4 times. I've never seen it live, but I've seen it on TV. It looks bad. The Outback opal mines, #1 place for opals in the world is Australia. But they live like, burrowing creatures. It's awful. So my mom can have a ring, which I did buy her.
It may be tough for some to measure their happiness, but Wallet Hub does. They measure happiness and tell you which states are the happiest in the USA.
I can measure my happiness, but I'll be off by an inch or 2.
They look at factors like depression, income, work environment, emotional and physical well-being, and the happiest state in the union. Anyone care to hazard a guess?
Happiest state in the union?
Yes.
Somewhere on the East Coast. Am I right there somewhere?
No.
No, well, then I'm
You are incorrect.
Wisconsin.
California, Florida, your mom's house.
Oh, California, Florida, better guesses than Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Well,
Nobody's
Danny,
happy in Wisconsin except Gibbons.
Well, they're always so drunk, I figured. I don't know.
I'll give you another hint.
All right.
It's where you and your future guitar teacher are running off to.
Hawaii.
The bedroom.
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Happiest state overall, followed by, I don't get this one.
Which sounds great, season 1.
Yeah, right.
Season 2 sounds like a nightmare.
The honeymoons.
Yeah. The honeymoons.
Minnesota, the 3rd happiest state in the U.S. of
No,
A.
I don't buy that. It's freezing cold.
love
There's a bunch of people from Minnesota there.
That's true. Known as blockheads for some reason.
blockheads.
I've looked into it and I still can't find exactly why they were called blockheads.
Because it's so cold that they all have blocks of ice stuck on their head.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep,
Oh,
that's
thank God that mystery is solved.
Well, I guess you didn't look into it by asking Sarah.
I should have.
North Dakota came in at number 4 for the happiest place, followed by California, Idaho, Maryland, Iowa, South Dakota, and Nebraska. The least happy states. Anyone care to hazard a guess?
New
The
York.
least happiest state. New York?
That was my guess.
No.
Ohio.
No.
Your
That's
mom's
where they
house.
keep Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
West Virginia.
Mountain Mama?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's not a lot going on in West Virginia.
No.
Industry's tough.
Yeah, ask your cousin.
Arkansas, Louisiana, Alaska, Oklahoma. Those are the unhappiest places.
I've been to Hawaii a couple of times, and the indigenous people do not seem all that thrilled.
With the rest of America?
Just they don't seem, when I talk to them, because I've done some work out there, I believe that they feel oppressed still. And they, much like the Native Americans, feel their stuff, I almost said the S word. Well, I did stuff, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Was ripped off. And then Amy and I went on a tour of the old Hawaiian palace where the Queen used to work and stuff. We did. We did it again. We went to Hawaii and totally stole their stuff.
We do that. Yeah.
I'd be mad if I was them.
Columbus drivers. So, yes, Columbus, Ohio, Paul's favorite place.
Yeah.
After Kansas.
And
Drivers.
Vashon.
Can you even drive with one eye?
Yeah,
that
I
legal?
think you can. You can drive with one eye.
I've seen it, but I don't know that you can get a license. Do you pass the vision test?
Yeah, I think so. As long as you can read the chart. You can read the chart with one
what
eye.
if you can't read the chart off to your left where the vehicle's coming to kill you?
Yeah, I don't know what
You
your
can't box with
peripheral
one eye.
vision is. You can't box with one eye?
You can't be a
Don't
professional
they
fighter,
often
no.
get their eye like closed
and
up?
their career's done. Oh,
Oh.
yeah, and then they lose that fight.
Yeah.
And then their career's over if they detach the retina or something like that. Yeah, eyes are important, apparently. That's why they say the eyes have it. Paul,
Yeah.
Why are we talking about having one eye and driving in Ohio?
Kansas.
Kansas. He has one eye.
And not Ohio.
Gotcha.
But what about driving in Ohio? Did you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Columbus drivers looking to head south to Cincinnati might be a little confused by the signage.
Or why they'd want to do that.
There's a new sign directing drivers to Cincinnati, but guess what is spelled wrong?
I'm
Cincinnati?
going to go Cincinnati on this.
Ding, 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 ding. Cincinnati.
How many people from Cincinnati did it take till they could tell something was misspelled?
So Cincinnati is spelled with two N's, but there are three N's in the word, and the N's are doubled in the wrong place.
How many S's?
No S's.
What do you mean no S's?
They didn't put any of the S's in?
There are no
Well, they're
S's.
just
It's
stupid.
S-I-N. It's Cincinnati.
Oh, wait.
Cincinnati, yeah.
Okay, wait. So I'm looking at this wrong. Cincinnati is how they spelled it. They added an I. That's why it looks
Well, then
wrong.
now you can drive anywhere.
Yeah, there's your eye. You needed it back.
Cincinnati.
They should change the spelling to sin. S-I-N. That'd be funny. And they're not
Whoops.
that funny of a place.
It's time for today's Things Are Not Right in Florida story of the day.
Yay.
Police arrested a man for allegedly trying to kill his boss after he was fired. So dude gets hired on Thursday,
Yeah.
gets fired on Sunday, tries to hire a hitman to kill his boss 2 hours later. He got fired for throwing supplies and tools on the ground, did not like being fired, so he tried to kill him.
Sure.
They found bullet holes in the man's vehicle. He was able to drive away. There are 5 bullet holes in the car. They knew who did it. They saw who did it. Cops went and took him into custody. And they said, this is not going to look real good on your resume, son.
Right. That's totally true.
Did they put that on there?
Is he
Tried
in
to
jail?
kill boss?
Is he in
He
jail?
is in jail, yeah. Oh, Florida.
Oh, Florida.
I know it's Florida, but yeah, they had to put him in jail for opening
Well,
fire.
the way you were saying it, like, this is going to look bad on your resume.
Yeah.
Now get out of here, you scamp.
News is brought to you by Les Schwab. When we return with music news, a cool update to the upcoming Queen movie. In entertainment news, a lot of action, but in sports, we've got an update about Doug Baldwin, who got hurt on Sunday. We have got all the latest and all the latest sports entertainment news next. Starting with music news, 20th Century Fox has announced Bohemian Rhapsody, the biopic of Queen, and its frontman Freddie Mercury will premiere at Wembley Arena in London.
Oh, cool.
The movie will?
The movie will.
Neat.
This is the same stadium.
Although I don't like other countries getting anything first.
Right.
I'm an American. You know, but you get, I mean, was the guy British?
Yes.
All right. Still, I don't care. He wasn't like Paul Revere or something. Give me my movie first.
Well, Wembley Stadium is where Queen played in front of 72,000 people for 1985's Live Aid concert.
You know who else played there in front of 80,000 people and was a record at the time? David Cassidy. Can you believe that guy was that big?
crazy.
Crazy.
Well, his wasn't benefiting AIDS
No,
and
his was
HIV.
better.
It
First
was
of all,
benefiting his own wallet.
He hadn't discovered AIDS yet. Well, no, I don't know that David Cassidy discovered AIDS, but you know what I'm
Probably
saying.
not.
Or you don't know what I'm saying.
What's very cool about this screening is all proceeds will benefit the Mercury Phoenix Trust, which supports global HIV/AIDS initiatives around the globe. So they said it's open to the public. It's going to be just a huge number of people, and you buy a ticket, and then that money goes to a cause clearly important to the band.
And they'll just put up screens, I guess, facing in all directions, because that's a big oval, that place, isn't it?
Yeah, but remember when they did the Olympics? They had the opening. What do they call that? Opening ceremonies. They just have the hugest screens everywhere.
25 years ago or so, I watched a big fight at Joe Louis Arena
Mm-hmm.
in Detroit. And it was the first time I'd ever done anything like that, because I thought it was kind of stupid. Let's stay home and watch the fights. And people will get me beers if I drink beers and, smoke pot, roll around, wear no pants, whatever it is. Why go?
Did you do any of those?
There was the reason that Joe Louis Arena turned out to be interesting. There were 25 fights in the crowd. It's a tough town, and people said, I'm a cheater, and you're a cheater, your mom's a cheater, pow! And they're like blood and guts rolling around the aisles in Joe Louis Arena.
See, I think this is going to be really amazing for fans to watch it. When we watched the trailer, the three of us watched the trailer together, I had a tear in my eye.
Oh, it's super exciting for this movie.
I was stepping on your foot. This is my fault. I'm sorry.
But the music was so powerful. The message is so powerful that you're going to be watching this epic movie. We're huge fans. I think it's going to be fun.
When it gets to this part, Scaramouche, can you do the fandango? Is everybody going to look at the guy next to him and say, what exactly just happened?
That's the other thing, though. People are going to be singing along with stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Some sad news from the music world. Olivia Newton-John has disclosed she battled breast cancer first 20 years ago, then
Is that all? I remember that. It was big news. I don't remember why.
Yep. Then 5 years ago, she battled it in secret, didn't tell anybody it had returned, and now she has revealed she has been hit with a third cancer diagnosis.
Yikes.
She said the first one, was breast cancer. Then she said she had cancer at the base of her spine.
Ooh, that's a bad one. Well, they're all bad ones.
Yeah. She has been trying some natural remedies to help her out with the pain, like cannabis. She has cut sugar out of her diet. She said that she's Australian and is hoping that Australia will soon be jumping on the bandwagon of legal cannabinoids.
She built a house in Malibu, and I can't even describe it. It's beautiful, and it looked just like a regular, if there is such a thing as a regular cliffside Malibu whitewater view place with a pool and big Roman arches around the pool. But everything was non-carcinogenic. Every inch of that house was some weird special material.
That's neat.
Built to fend off cancer. Apparently it didn't work, but she moved from there years and years and years ago. But that was big talk in LA. Every time you pass it, you go, you know what that is?
Yeah, she has a California ranch with her husband, and they grow cannabis.
Really?
Which is pretty wild. But she's saying that she's hoping Australia will do it soon. But, of course, well wishes to Olivia Newton-John.
Remember the scene in Greece where she turns into the bad girl and she's all dressed like that? She kind of tried to cash in on that, and it just didn't work because she's so adorable, has always been. She's a koala bear or whatever it is to be adorable, minus the syphilis or whatever those things have.
Chlamydia.
But yeah, the same thing. But people started calling her, and I don't know if her office started it or not, but people started calling her Olivia Neutron Bomb. And she used to dress like a like all, boobs and hair.
Yeah.
And so it didn't work out. They went right back to being a koala bear.
Next weekend, we are bringing you 2 nights in Vegas filled with performances from some of the very biggest names in music. It's our iHeartRadio Music Festival, and it's happening September 21st and 22nd at T-Mobile Arena. We are talking about so many amazing bands: Fleetwood Mac, Leonard Skinner, Justin Timberlake, Jason Aldean, Jack White, Imagine Dragons, Carrie Underwood, and many, many more, believe it or not.
Sometimes all of them on stage at the same time. Well, maybe not all of them, but the collaborations.
That's what they're known for,
That's what's really cool.
We want to send you to the show in Vegas for free, including hotel and airfare for 2. You're listening for the next keyword. You text it to 200-200 for your shot to win. And the next chance for you to do just that right after 8 a.m. this morning.
Yeah, that'd be a long wait.
That would be a long time for us to be on the air.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Worth it, though. Two things, you
Definitely.
can't get enough of us. And two, you have to wait until 8 o'clock tonight to win that trip,
Yeah.
I'd do it totally.
I'm not sure if anyone saw the Stand Up to Cancer telethon. It's an annual event hosted by just a ton of different celebrities. Matt Damon, Tracy Ellis Ross, John Hamm, Winona Ryder, those were just some of the participants. Stevie Wonder was there, paid a tribute to Aretha Franklin.
Ah, that's adorable.
She, of course, died last month from pancreatic cancer. And according to the tally, it was their most successful yet. Bradley Cooper said they got $123 million in pledges.
Wow.
I
from
wonder
the
if they
US and
search
Canada.
Winona Ryder on the way out. So, $120 million, but there's only 106. Winona, and you look chubby for the first time ever.
It's just a phase. I think she's over it.
You know, I thought she was crazy.
No, she's on one of the biggest shows.
No, I know, but I
on
thought she
TV
was
now.
crazy. I thought she had a problem. She went and saw a psychiatrist to find out why a wealthy woman would steal things.
Well, I think kleptomania is
Yeah.
a
So it's
But
she's cured
kleptomania.
of it.
Kleptomania is not a phase; it's a diagnosis. But you think she's over it?
I do.
I think she'd steal your heart. Oh,
No, she'd steal my heart.
she's cute.
Yeah.
The Rock.
Yeah, he's cute too.
Everybody loves The Rock.
Yeah, he's
but,
stolen all of our hearts.
Yeah.
Indeed. But did you know about his dad, Rocky
No.
Johnson?
Wrestler, right? I mean, he was a wrestler too.
Correct.
Rocky Johnson. That sounds like it would hurt.
WWE Hall of Fame member Rocky Johnson, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's dad.
How did this keep quiet till this time? I didn't know this.
No, he's like a legendary wrestler.
But did you know this whole
Yeah.
time? Oh, okay. I did not know this.
Derek, you're a wrestling guy. Is this guy on your radar?
A little before my time.
Yeah. He is from the 60s is when he started his wrestling career, 1964. He would jump into the ring around Toronto. He then came to the United States during the Civil Rights Movement, faced racial prejudices outside the ring, becoming among the first black wrestlers to demand and receive a contract.
His dad's black?
Yep.
I didn't know that. I thought they were all islanders.
Mom is
Mom's an islander, and
Yep.
dad's African, whatever, African American,
Canadian.
African
He is
Do they
black.
call it an African Canadian?
They do
Yeah, I think
not.
they do. They don't.
They do
They don't?
not.
What do they
What do
call?
they call
it?
it?
What do you call
Black
it? You just go black guy.
or Canadian.
You know that black
Then
dude
they
over
say
there?
A after, and then
Yeah.
sorry.
He's
I
Canadian,
like
eh?
it better.
He's Nova Scotian.
Do you know The Rock's dad's a black guy? That seems to make so much more sense. He's an African American. Like, who do you salute? I think it's weird.
Yeah, but the British don't call themselves African British.
They call themselves Africans.
They call themselves black.
British.
Or
I thought they
British.
were
I
British.
don't know. I don't know about this.
Anyway, he is getting the movie treatment. A biopic called Ring King is in development. Very cool. The life story of The Rock's dad.
Now, is The Rock going to play his dad?
Oh, that would
Oh,
be so
genius.
cool.
That would be awesome.
Nicely done.
Oh my gosh, I have no idea.
Well, I'm going to go with yeah.
He doesn't
Yeah, I
look
would hope so.
really the same as his father, but what a cool concept.
But
Yeah,
he's
I
such
know.
a great actor.
It's
he
a
can
movie.
overcome that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if any of you are watching it, but the Mayans MC,
No, I am not watching it.
a lot of people are.
Yeah.
Now,
I
know
want to watch it. I haven't seen it yet, but has there just been a couple of episodes so far?
just a couple episodes, but those episodes have been enough to make it the most watched cable show for the year.
Wow.
They had, let's see, the spinoff they got, the premiere was 4.6 million
Wow.
viewers for a cable show is pretty humongous.
Yeah, it is.
How does that compare to Sons of Anarchy numbers from when that show was on?
If I'm saying this correctly, 2.1 million.
Well, so double.
Yeah,
Wow.
which is
Double for a spin-off of a show.
kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Now, for FX, this was the highest rated season premiere, and the last one that was huge for them was The People versus O.J. Simpson.
Does anybody know, and I think it just started, but I guess it can't be bad or they wouldn't have put it on TV. The Mayans are a real gang.
Yeah.
Well, some gangs would take
Would not
exception
like
to
that
this.
you made a
Yeah.
TV show about them?
So
Yeah.
are the Mayans in on this? Are they like maybe technical advisors? Because mostly with criminal gangs, and they will tell you they're not. They will tell you they're motorcycle enthusiasts.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're not. They're criminals. But they're criminals because they want money and they don't want to work for it. Well, okay, you sit right there and tell me if my movie's going okay. All right, there. Now everybody's got my blessing.
I think Kurt Sutter has a pretty checkered past
Yeah,
himself.
he looks like, I don't know what his past is, but he looks like a criminal.
Yeah, and
Well,
I have.
that's not very nice of you, Paul.
He's the creator of the show, and he looks like he belongs in these gangs.
Yes.
You can't judge a book by its cover. You know who looks like a criminal to me?
You.
Danny Trejo.
Oh, he
Oh,
was.
yeah. Wasn't he?
What?
Like, didn't he go to prison for a long time?
Well, there's that.
So yeah, if you're not watching it, you might want to because apparently it's amazing. Y'all remember the movie Candyman?
Yeah,
Candyman, yeah.
Candyman.
Don't say it again.
I don't. Does it work if two people do it? Because I've only said it twice and he's only said it once.
Yeah,
well,
true.
it's not Beetlejuice. It's not 3 times.
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
It's 5
Beetlejuice.
times. Beetlejuice is 3
Candyman.
times. Candyman
Is Beetlejuice?
We're all in trouble now.
I don't even know what's happening.
And I'm pretty sure with Candyman, you have to say it 5 times when you look in the mirror.
And 5 times fast, right? Say that 5
So-
times fast. That's where that
Candyman,
saying
Candyman,
comes from.
Candyman.
Want to hear a scary moment that is probably hard to believe,
Yeah.
but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. So I'm watching Candyman.
Candyman.
Candyman. And he's on fire. I think it's one of the ending scenes. Spoiler alert, right? And I'm looking at where he is, and they're pointing up, and I see my window from the where I would be. I turn and I go to the window. Well, they're not shooting it obviously anymore, but they shot that in the train tracks by my old apartment
Oh.
Wow.
in Chicago. And I'm looking at the window that I'm looking out right now.
Oh,
watching
creepy.
it was really weird. Not enough to not continue drinking, but it was weird.
Well, it is a classic horror movie, Candyman.
Candyman.
Very scary. It was adapted by a Clive Barker short story. Clive Barker, just one of the kings of horror. And now there is talk of bringing it back. They said, and that they said Candyman is super scary, and Jordan Peele wants to do it,
Oh, wow.
of Key and Peele. And of course, he
Which
won
one? Academy Award winner?
Yes.
Okay.
Peele won an Oscar for Get Out. He was nominated for Best Director. He is also doing, let's see, a remake of The Twilight Zone, The
Yeah.
Hunt, Lovecraft Country.
He is absolutely everywhere, this guy. He's not missing a beat.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I'm making a lot of noise. Not only did I win Academy Award, but I'm one of the 10 black directors that won Academy Award, so there's a huge buzz there. It's my first movie. It's a huge buzz there. Everybody is eating that guy up, and he's taking advantage of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, his production company is doing a ton of work, so
Ton.
good for him. Let's take a look at sports. It's brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. That's 1-800-DUI-AWAY. The Mariners were off yesterday. They resume home play today against the San Diego Padres. First pitch, 7:10, Marco Gonzalez versus Brian Mitchell. Tomorrow brings us Game 3 of the WNBA Finals. The Seattle Storm at the Washington Mystics. Tip-off is at 5. Now, Seattle is currently leading 2-0. You know what they're going to do tomorrow night?
Win again.
Win the
Heck
championship, yeah.
The Seattle Storm. Go Storm.
Good Storm.
Go Tips.
He's not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
Good tips.
Well, I've got some bad news when it comes to the Seahawks.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
According to ESPN...
Did we lose our opener?
Yeah, is that the
Season
bad
opener.
news?
We did.
Oh, man.
And we have lost Doug Baldwin.
Forever?
According to ESPN's Adam Schefter...
Hopefully not forever. I mean, so did they look in the locker room? Or maybe by now, surely he's at his house.
He's still outside looking for his car, pushing the keychain, trying to make things beep.
Not that kind of loss,
Oh, okay.
Paul.
Sorry.
He has a grade 2 partial MCL tear to his right knee, according to ESPN.
Oh, not nearly as funny.
No, he
No.
will be out for what they are saying a good portion of the season.
No.
Wow.
Terrible news. I mean, there's hope that he's a quick healer. It's a grade 2. I'm going to guess a grade 1 is worse. Unless it's that weird kind of backwards. Where
Yeah.
grade
I never
Yeah.
understand. Yeah.
But 2 should be right in
But
the
I
middle.
mean, not that he's not the greatest thing since sliced bread, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
love me some
But
Doug
he
Baldwin.
did play in the opener, and we lost.
Well, he got hurt.
Yeah,
You get to
he
take him
should
out.
have.
Oh.
Yeah, I blame Doug Baldwin.
Yeah, I'm a little, the guy could have hit anybody else, but no, Doug Baldwin's in his way.
Nah.
Last night we had 2 games for Monday Night Football. Now, Danny, you and I watched some of the first game together.
Yes, we did, but you hogged the blankets.
I know you started watching a little bit late, so I'm not sure if you realized that history was made. The first game saw the youngest person to quarterback in the modern age start the game. 21-year-old Sam Darnold. Good-looking youngster.
Didn't he start the game with throwing a pick six?
He
Yes.
started the game.
First throw.
Career pass, interception, pick
Yes.
six.
No, okay, help me
Heartbreaking.
out, although
Way
it
to go,
doesn't matter
buddy.
this. Why is that more than an interception? Why is it a pick six? I don't know.
Because
Granted.
they scored a touchdown off of it, so they
And got the 6
intercepted
points?
it and went.
Okay.
Yeah,
I had no idea. I thought something weird well, something did happen. Some guy got a touchdown with our ball.
I felt so bad for this dude. I
Yeah,
was on
that's
the
awful.
verge of tears. And then all of a sudden, bam,
Ow!
he just got into a rhythm. Kid looked great. So the Jets predicted to be pretty awful this year, but you know who was awful?
Who?
Detroit.
Detroit.
Final score 48-17. Whoo, a whooping.
That's a wild game.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right, I saw a quarterback last night because I watched both games, and I'm not sure. New, super handsome guy, in my opinion, playing. I don't remember what was it. Kind of reddish hair, but not Dalton. Bigger too. Was he a quarterback or one of the
The
new?
Jets guy looks like a ginger. I don't.
And is he way handsome?
He's good looking.
See, I'm blinded. I just assumed that all gingers are super.
Oh, yeah,
handsome.
redheads.
Yeah. I just thought there was another one to root for to run around and be handsome and
There's
athletic.
a strangely high number
Yes, there
of
are.
ginger quarterbacks.
There's that dark-haired guy, kind of darker skin.
The Arizona, what the heck's his name? He just retired. He was a ginger, the quarterback for
Right.
Arizona Cardinals.
yeah.
Totally blanking on his name right now. Well, last night saw the second game kind of bring us a strange bit of history as well. The Rams beat the Oakland Raiders, something fierce, 33-13.
Jeez.
That game saw John Gruden return to the NFL sidelines as a head coach for the first time in years. He had been doing ESPN Monday Night Football for 9 years.
And I like him. I haven't seen, I don't watch ESPN unless something is on that I need to see, but I've seen his commercials. I've seen him as a guest on talk shows. I like him. I don't know
I
if
like
he can
him too.
coach, but I like him.
He was a coach before. He was great. He can't really be totally to blame. There's a team on the field. But what history was made with John Gruden losing last night, all 7 coaches making their debuts kickoff weekend lost.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
All 7. So we had the Giants, the Bears, Cardinals, Colts, Detroit, Tennessee Titans, all with brand new coaches, all lost. Crazy.
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 Maybe they'll all turn it around. A couple of other tidbits. Delaney Walker, tight end for Tennessee Titans, broke his ankle ligament damage. He will not play again this season.
Well, he also has to change his name.
Delaney Walker. Delaney
Thank
needs
you.
a Walker. That's funny. Jeremy Hill, his season ended after just 1 week. He, too, tore an ACL in the season opener.
Middle name, Over. Over the hill. I'm going to do this if you keep setting him up.
That's pretty good, Danny.
Hey, I appreciate you.
And that is your sports, brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
Yeah, super drag to get a DUI. First of all, you shouldn't do it, but if you did it, they can take your license for more than a year if they wish to, and you're going to go to jail in handcuffs for the most part right then and there. And you're going to have to call your wife or your husband to get bail. It's a big drag. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. That's 1-800-DUI-AWAY. They'll meet you in Seattle, Tacoma, and/or Everett. So once again, don't delay. 1-800-DUI-AWAY. That's 1-800-DUI-AWAY. I say the C word. You say clamato. Maybe that's not exactly how that song goes, but at 7:20 this morning, we got a game. It's called the C word, and you can win a pair of tickets to crafts and cars, and that's all happening at Evergreen Speedway.
I was wondering if Paul was going to get a talking to from the boss and we'd be told that that game needs to stop.
Oddly enough, I did not get
That
a
is
talking
so
to from the
weird.
boss.
I didn't get a call from the boss. Did you?
No.
We were talking about this recently, that the Eagles' greatest hits recently took over Thriller as the top-selling album of all time.
Man, do I find that hard to believe. I mean, I know it's right, but
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe.
The Eagles' greatest hits has always been a massive seller, but the fact that it overtook Thriller is pretty surprising, and it means people are still buying the Eagles record in droves.
Yeah.
And you pointed out, Danny, at one point, with moving a lot and changing of technology. So you might have had cassette, then you had it on CD, then you had it in your iTunes, then you lost your iTunes library, then you had to get it again. That you've had to buy stuff over and over.
Yeah, I brought in a microwave today. I used to have fire out completely.
But, sometimes you have to re-buy something.
Yeah, 100 times. You know what? I bought more than almost anything would be Bob Marley's greatest hits.
Right.
But,
Great example.
I mean, I would buy 3 CDs or 6 CDs every time I would change and lose everything. Be the Monkees, Neil Diamond, Bob Marley, and a couple of Beatles records. But you have to have those if you're going to call yourself a real life human being.
Yeah. And there's something about the Eagles' greatest hits that people clearly just don't get sick of. These songs are so good. You can hear Hotel California over and over, and it's just something you don't get sick of.
Oh, I'll tell you something I don't get sick of.
What's
I'm moving
that?
away to a whole new world. Chinese food. I could have Chinese food. Egg foo young. I could even have it when it's egg foo old. I don't care. Just bring it on. Chinese food. I never get sick of it.
Yeah.
You're like my husband, man. Noodles. He could
Yep.
eat noodles, and it could be Vietnamese. It could be Chinese. Anything has to be Asian noodles. He doesn't ever get sick of it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I find
That's
it
why.
so strange. And you're it must be tough for you because your wife doesn't love Chinese food the same way you do.
No, but very few people love Chinese food the way I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I take it almost to a physical love, which is odd, I think.
There's nothing wrong with that, man. No judgment.
She's trying it because she realized recently, I think, that she drags me to sushi like twice a week,
Right.
and that she doesn't really reciprocate too much with the Chinese food. So now we have Wonton Wednesdays, and I get
That's
Chinese food the last Wednesday of the month.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, you guys aren't getting sick of the Eagles. What is something else that you just don't ever get sick of? Call us now and tell us 800-252-1025 or text in 90627.
So the Eagles have been selling very, very, very well for the last, 40 years or something crazy like that. We keep buying them because we keep loving them. The question to you is, what is something that you never get sick of? 1-800-252-1025, or you can text to 90627.
Good morning to Nick in Lacey.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're all good, buddy. What do you got?
I never get tired of 3-day weekends. I work 4/10, so I have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off.
You
Okay.
are lucky.
Yeah, I didn't register. I work 4/10. What does that mean?
4/10s. He works 4 10-hour shifts rather than
Okay.
5 8-hour shifts.
Yes. Oh, like a fire. Are you a fireman?
No, I work at a casino.
Same thing.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I can say I would never get sick of that. And once I had it for almost a year, then I'd say, what's wrong? Why don't we get 4-day weekends? And eventually I would just never work again. But good call, Nick. Thank you.
Let's talk to our friend Mike in Sultan.
Hey, Mike.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Sticky Sexy Abaducci.
What's up?
I will have 5 or 6 pounds of bacon in my freezer, but if I go to the store, I have to buy another couple pounds. And no matter what store I go to, the shopping cart knows which aisle the bacon is, and it goes there automatically.
Wow, that's
for me,
amazing.
so.
Yeah, that thing will drive itself into the bacon. That's a thing, though. I don't know anybody who ever liked bacon and got sick of it. I do know people that got sick of a ton of other things, but bacon seems to be one of those things
Yeah.
that it's just so universal. If you're not a vegetarian, that if you just go, oh, you like bacon? Well, of course you like bacon. What,
And
you
you can
communist?
you can put it with or on pretty much anything.
That's
Like
true.
just wrap anything in bacon and it tastes better.
Even ice cream.
Or take the old bacon that your wife's not using and crumple it up and put it in a bowl of soup. It can literally can improve a salad. It improves everything.
I get it. I'm addicted to Morningstar Farms bacon.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah,
I don't
that
get
seems
that.
almost the same thing, except totally not.
We're asking, what is something you don't ever get sick of? Apparently, nobody gets sick of the Eagles' greatest hits, top-selling album of all time.
Yeah.
Don in Puyallup.
Hey, Don.
Hello, hi guys.
Hey.
I never get sick of the hair bands. AC/DC to be one of them.
You know, I would agree with you because there's other ones. I made a comment about Motley Crue this morning that I forgot how much I liked Motley Crue. And then Poison was kind of fun, and the hair bands just in general were kind of fun. Here's where AC/DC ran into trouble with me. They started putting bagpipes in the rock and roll. Now, what is when you hear rock and roll for the first thing in the morning? It's usually because you're way hungover, and then somebody sticks a bagpipe in your rock and roll. I say nay, but thank you, Don.
Something you don't ever get sick of. What is it for you, Drama in Renton?
Hey, drama.
Hey, good morning, y'all.
What's
Welcome
up?
back.
Thanks.
Thanks.
So, I don't, and of course, this is me. You guys know this, so I don't ever get sick of going to the range and going shooting.
It's, for those of us that don't shoot like regularly, it's not a thing I do. It sounds like, well, what kind of guy is Drama that he can really shoot that much? And then you go and do it. And it's
Fun.
so fun.
Oh, it
It's
really is,
totally
yeah.
fun to shoot.
And it's a stress reliever for a
Shooting
lot of
right
people.
at
Yeah.
Drama would be totally like, no, but he gets to be 100 yards away. Just be fair.
What about Joshua calling from Lacey? What is something you don't ever get sick of?
My '07 Ford Crown Victoria.
Oh, I'm sick of your '07 Crown Victoria right now. And you know why?
Why?
It looks like every
You
cop
think it's
car
a
you ever
cop,
saw.
yeah.
That's why, Joshua. How many times have you gotten behind somebody knowing that they think you're a cop?
That's what this car used to be. And I still have
neat.
the push bar to go with it, but
Don't you get tired of people slowing down when you're behind them?
I do a little bit. But
I would tell
But
you,
I'll
man,
tell you what.
people used to do this back in my bad druggy days when I would go to bad neighborhoods to do bad things with pockets full of money. People would pull up in Crown Vics and everybody would run for cover.
Yeah.
And then as you go by, you go, this is some tourist. Has no idea. They're like, he's in a terrible part of town.
Farmer Ted, what is something you don't ever get sick of?
Good morning. How you guys doing today?
We're all good, buddy. What do you got?
Well, I never get sick of this radio show.
Good?
But,
Good call.
the one thing I called in about was like corny cheeseball movies, such as like Hots and Corvette Summer.
Okay. I don't think I don't know what you're doing, Farmer Ted. I happen to be in every single one of those movies, and I'm a bit of a genius in all of them. I cannot believe the Academy denied me again.
It's amazing, Danny.
Thank you.
How did you not get an Academy Award for
And a
Hots?
star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
It should say Hots right on it.
Something
Thanks, Ted.
Something I don't ever get sick of is coffee. Like, it's the first thing I think of when I wake up in the morning, and it's almost never do I want something different. You just start your day with coffee. I love coffee.
I'm with you. I was saving this because I didn't want to steal it, and I just assumed it would be the very first call, but it wasn't. The Beatles.
Oh,
Who
yeah.
gets sick of the Beatles? We'd have no
Nobody.
jobs if you got sick of the Beatles.
Michelle in Auburn, what is something you don't get sick of?
Hey guys, what's up?
Morning.
I love pizza all day, every day.
Yep.
Pizza, pizza, pizza.
Yeah, breakfast, lunch, dinner, every day.
First of all, how ridiculously cute is Michelle?
Yeah.
Pizza, pizza, pizza every day. Pizza, pizza, pizza.
Michelle, guess what I have brought with me for breakfast this morning?
Do you have pizza for breakfast?
Yep.
Guess,
Oh,
guess
I'm
what?
going to visit.
Guess what I have with me for breakfast?
Do you have pizza?
No, I have lasagna. I swear to God, right in that box that says lasagna on it.
I can get
Stouffer's.
sick of lasagna. I don't get sick of pizza.
No,
Never,
yeah, I
ever,
love
ever.
pizza.
Several people texted in to 90627 saying pizza, including somebody who has worked in a pizzeria for 15 years and still loves pizza.
Oh, wow.
Whenever they can get it. A couple of people saying they never get sick of ramen.
No, good. Very nice. I
Lenny
never
in
get sick-
Tacoma loves his popcorn. Never gets sick of popcorn.
Didn't know that. I thought he'd go with salmon.
Yeah.
I would not have picked popcorn. I could see getting sick of popcorn. Rob in Louisville, something you don't ever get sick of?
Good morning, guys. Well, I've actually got two in no particular order. I really enjoy a nice cold beer and listening to this show.
No,
At the same time?
That's what I was going to ask. At this, do you listen to us while drinking beer?
No, I'm always at work when I'm listening to you guys. I drive a truck.
even
Oh,
better.
in that
Oh.
case, do you drink beer while you listen to us at work?
He did say that he is a truck driver, so thankfully he waits till afterwards.
Yeah,
Oh,
put
so
that
he's
beer
doing,
down.
He's
Yeah.
doing all the meth to stay awake.
Danny!
Yeah.
He is calling from Louisville.
See?
What is something you don't ever get sick of? Joe and Lake Stevens.
Hey, Joe.
hey, happy Tuesday, what's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Up, Joe.
Quality.
So what is it,
There
buddy?
all the time, Sarah.
Thank you. Thank
Look
you.
what you did.
Oh,
Yeah.
First of all, I need to hook up with Drama in Renton. That dude he's in my good book right
Oh,
there.
yeah, go shooting with drama.
I'll tell you, I've only known him, I've only known him a little bit, but if I had to pick, good guy.
Yeah.
I would hang out.
You
Plus,
guys would get along, Joe.
everything about that guy says he can handle himself. Well, let me rephrase. Everything about
does
that guy
handle
said if
himself.
you went out and got in a scrape after two back.
I've hung out with Joe before. I've hung out with Drama. I think you guys would get along.
Yeah.
Go shooting, drink some beers.
Yeah. And
So-
something I'd never get tired of,
What's that?
about 2 or 3 times a week, I have a Subway sandwich for lunch.
Really?
Yeah, they're good. And the thing is, do you always have the same thing or do you mix it up?
No, I mix it up. You know, I'll have their sub of the day usually.
Because the thing
and
is,
if I
Joe,
really
on
care-
the surface, it sounds like, oh man, you have the same thing 2 or 3 times a week. That's terrible. But that's a massive menu.
Yeah.
Just because you're getting it the
Yeah.
same place doesn't mean it's monotonous, I don't think.
And unlike us, Danny, Joe doesn't get intimidated by all the different things that they
You want
demand.
olives and onions and a rooster head on that?
I don't really know why he's doing that voice, but
That's exactly the way my Subway guy sounds.
is that right? But they ask you really tough questions like,
Do you want
like
olives?
yes, do you like olives? Would
Yeah.
you like olives on your sandwich?
2 separate things.
Why is that
do
so
you like,
hard?
Do you like olives? Would you like olives on your sandwich? 2
Both easy to
entirely
answer,
separate
right?
things. Yeah, but one could be yes, one could be no. Now you're involved. Now you're dating.
Mother Trucker calling from Tacoma. Something you don't ever get sick of is what?
Hey, mother trucker.
Nice.
That's going out of style. I never get
right.
sick of that.
Yeah.
And vodka crayon with lemon.
Say it again, please. I was babbling.
Marijuana and vodka crayon with lemon.
Does anybody else
I love
dig that
her.
she's behind the wheel right now? Yeah, you go. But yeah, I'm down with both of those things. I've lost my rights to one of them. They took that away from me. But at the time, that would have been great. Sitting back, getting high with Mother Trucker and drinking vodka. Yeah.
What about our friend Brent in Port Townsend? Something you don't get sick of?
Well, I love these fall days, but I can never get sick of Chevy Chase and Rodney Dangerfield in Caddyshack.
All right. So, Brent, if I said to you, I'm doing an impression, what is it? Could you get it? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Could you get that?
Yeah, you're putting with Chevy with a blindfold.
That's hilarious.
Right in my box, bitch. Wow.
Carl and Renton, what is something you don't get sick of?
Hey, Carl.
Here and I love you from my girlfriend to my grandkids every morning.
Oh, so
that's
sweet.
adorable.
All right, Paul, why don't you ruin it? What is it for you?
The Back to the Future trilogy. Why didn't they make like 16 of those movies? Even
Well,
the
because the star started shaking.
well, they were like super cheesy, but they were just so great. I could
loved
watch
them.
anytime they're on. I watch them. It's one of the only like DVD box sets that I own, and I'll still watch it every now and again.
Yep, I agree with you on that one. Tori, what is something you don't get sick of?
I recently went to the melting pot, and I don't think I could get tired of fondue.
Oh my! I was just talking about the melting pot with some guy last night. Some weird, like a stranger.
It's so yummy.
I think he was my Uber driver.
That's funny. And Derek, what is something you don't ever get sick of?
French fries, or as I like to call them, freedom fries.
Freedom fries.
I don't know why, but I thought for sure he was going to say adult relations.
No.
How is it that nobody said that?
Well, because I'm a little sick of it, to be honest.
Because
with
we could have pizza or
you. Yeah,
French
give me some
fries.
pizza and a beer.
Or beer.
Or doing the deed, give me a beer and a pizza.
Watch a movie.
One of them is crusty. That's all I know. Better be the pizza.
Hey, it's time to play the C word.
The C word.
You can
That never gets old.
You can win a pair of tickets and food vouchers for Crafts and Cars this Saturday at the Evergreen Speedway. Sample some great craft beer. Check out some cool, fast cars, all at one big event. If you want to play and win, call right now, 800-252-1025. .5 KZOK, we are playing the C word for your chance to win a pair of tickets and food vouchers for Crafts and Cars happening this Saturday at Evergreen Speedway. It's going to be a really fun day out. You can enjoy dozens of craft brews from local and regional breweries. There's a car show, live music, a cornhole tournament with cash prizes, autocross, a kids fun zone, food vendors, and more. Here's how you win. You correctly identify the C word from Danny's clue. Our contestant is Michael in Mount Vernon.
Hey, I'm Michael.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Absolutely.
All right, then. Do you understand the rules of the game?
Yes, I do.
Then here we go. This C word is the oldie-timey profession of someone who makes wooden vessels held together with wooden or metal hoops. Examples of this C word's work include casks, barrels, buckets, tubs, and butter churns. It's also the last name of my Bigfoot co-stars, nicknamed the Godfather of Shock Rock. Can you identify the C word?
The Godfather of shock rock. The only thing I can think of would be Cooper.
Well,
Yeah, that's correct.
It's the only thing you,
It's the only thing you have to think
who
of.
said first caller?
Danny did. You got it right.
You
Nice
win,
job,
buddy. Yeah.
Michael. Cooper is indeed it's the correct answer. So, Michael, you are going to the Jeep winners window in our lobby to get your tickets and food vouchers for crafts and cars. Again, it's happening this Saturday at the Evergreen Speedway. If you want more information or get yourself tickets, evergreenspeedway.com. 7:20 tomorrow, we'll play another exciting round of the C Word, and in just a few minutes, we'll give you the big news of the day. With your filthy forecast. Anyone interested in having a shower with me this morning?
Sure.
Come
Kind of dirty.
with me. We'll head outside and let the rain touch us from top to bottom. You got a chance of getting some today. The high
Well, that's good.
64, inching up a bit tomorrow.
Don't tell my wife.
Every inch counts. 66 for the high, and the sun will poke its head through in the afternoon for some
I know what she's doing.
delightful, penetrating rays, giving you great pleasure. You'll want to keep some protection handy.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe rubbers, or will you be rubbing in the lotion? I'll tell you Thursday. We'll be here with the best weather front in Seattle. I'm Sarah.
Wow, my goodness gracious. That was Sarah's filthy forecast. And we're doing, not only does Sarah talk dirty to you for your entertainment dollar, but also we're doing a great music festival. It's happening next Friday and Saturday night, September 21st and 22nd. Our iHeartRadio Music Festival brings some of the biggest names in music to the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. We'd love to send you free, including airfare, hotel for two. Your next chance to win happens in, I don't know, right around 8:10 this morning. Let me tell you all about the iHeartRadio app. You are going to dig it if you get it. It's all your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. Plus, you can put it all in your pocket and take us with you wherever you go, which I kind of like the sound of that. Live streaming of KZOK and daily podcast of our show right here. Listen on your phone, laptop, whatever you want to do. 200 other devices like Alexa, Google Home, and Sonos. You Roku, you get it. We can get us everywhere. Just download the iHeartRadio app.
Florence, Italy made a pretty strange rule banning eating outdoors in tourist areas of their city.
Yeah.
Danny, how poorly behaved were you when you were over there that they have to make this rule?
I don't know if that's when they enacted it, but I was leaving our hotel or standing in the lobby of the hotel. And there was like a desk or something sitting all on its own where you could go sit to write, but it looked like too formal. And I look at it and there's that rule, and it starts with these words: "It is forbidden." Which are like grown-up words, man, and it says you can't eat on the sidewalks or some such thing.
Well, they're trying to ease litter and congestion and, tourists just acting shamefully. So they've banned eating. You can get a fine. Earlier in the show, we were talking about here in Washington, they're really starting to crack down on who can drive in the, what are they called? The
Diamond Lane?
HOV lane?
HOV lane. And they are cracking down because people have been breaking the rules. Well, the HOV lane rules make total sense to me.
Yeah.
Banning eating a gelato in Florence, Italy seems ridiculous.
It does, but that's not what's happening. It's what it looks like it's happening. What's happening is they're banning the cup that gelato came in, staying on the step on which you sat to eat it.
Yeah.
That's what they're banning.
Well, they said if you are found to be eating outside, they'll give you a ticket.
Right. And they went, well.
That's crazy.
Here's the thing on that, though, and maybe why they're so nervous. I was in a square. There must have been 500 people. It could have held about 3,000 people. And I'm only thinking about this right now. I don't know that I saw one cop in Italy. So nobody's doing anything because there's a police presence, because there wasn't one.
And if they write you a ticket and then you just get on an airplane and fly home, who cares? Are you ever going to pay that ticket?
Ask Amanda Knox. She wants to go back. She can't. She got a big ticket murder or something.
Yeah.
There are a lot of rules and laws on the books that are pretty ridiculous. And I don't mean like the oldie-timey blue laws that some town just hasn't gotten rid of. But when
you don't? Because I do.
No, because they never enforce them. But when I was in Scotland last week, you couldn't buy alcohol in the middle of the week before 10 a.m.
I watched this happen on TV. I couldn't believe it. I said, what is the problem in Scotland? It's a big, and there's other things happening there about removing alcohol from you. I'd go, and I don't even drink, and I'd run riot on that. You can't do that.
Well, we just were at a grocery store. We were trying to buy a bunch of stuff for our road trip. I was like, oh, let's get some beers for later. 10 o'clock in the morning, I would have had to wait. That seems like a crazy rule to me.
Man, you're right, and you have to adapt. I lived in New York City for a while where they don't sell booze on Sundays.
They stopped that. There was such an uproar.
From the liquor store. They sell it at restaurants. They always did.
Plenty of places still like that, though.
But
don't serve on
and there's dry counties. But anyway, in New York, they wouldn't sell it on Sundays, and they caught me 2 or 3 Sundays in a row. And then I started stacking up. You have to learn from these things. So 10 in the morning. A lot of people think, well, that's not that bad, Sarah. You can't get booze till 10 in the morning.
Right.
But we have it here. At least when I was growing up in L.A., you couldn't.
Yeah, here in Washington, I've been burned a couple of times. Waking up super early, deciding to stock up for the Seahawks game, and they're like, "Oh, you can't buy that till 6."
Right.
I'm like, okay, I know that I sound like I look probably pretty weird trying to buy this much booze at 5 o'clock in the morning.
This is just what time I'm normally up, guys.
Yeah.
Come
They're
on.
not going to break down. It's their license,
Right.
at stake. Now, see, you said now oldie-timey ones. You know what I would like to get? Specifically a rule I would like to get rid of? The rule of thumb. Now, we've discussed it on the show before. The rule of thumb started when it was okay to beat your wife on the steps of the courthouse, but only with a stick smaller around than your thumb. Well, we should probably get rid of that. I would think that's a bad thing, and we did. You can't do that to anybody. Your wife, relative, you can't do it. But we still say it, and it seems really weird.
Yeah.
Think of all the things we don't say because of the feelings it would hurt, and now we say to a girl, "Hey, well, the rule of thumb on this is to do that." Well, the rule of thumb on this, I used to be able to hit you with a stick, and now I can't anymore. I think we should abolish that phrase.
You guys listening, what would you say is a rule you find ridiculous? Florence, Italy, banning outdoor eating. What is a rule you find a little bit crazy? Call us now, 800-252-1025, or text in 90627.
Apparently, Florence, Italy was so repulsed by my behavior just last week when I was in Florence, they're banning eating outdoors in tourist areas of the city. That seems a little ridiculous. What rule do you find ridiculous? Here's the phone number, 1-800-252-1025, or you can text to 90627.
Good morning, Farmer Ted.
Hey.
Hey, good morning again.
Morning.
Doing one day, I thought. Hey, I think it's state of Washington has a rule that says it's illegal to harass Bigfoot. Who harasses that guy?
It is.
Is that really a law in Washington?
It's an actual on the books law.
You can't harass Bigfoot.
Well, I've never seen it written down, but I've been told by more than one. I was told by the mayor of Puyallup. Was it Puyallup?
The mayor of Puyallup, yeah.
Yeah, they told me you
I
can't.
thought you were the mayor of Puyallup.
Yeah, well, that guy had to be run out of town because he is a Bigfoot enthusiast. But anyway, I think it's a real thing.
One of the rules that I find totally ridiculous, actually, let me rephrase. A rule that I know Danny finds totally ridiculous.
Yeah.
The 3-second rule.
Yeah.
Because it should be the 30-second rule?
Yes.
Well, here's the thing on that. It should be the when it gets too gross to put back in your mouth rule. And that doesn't have a time. But this is where I know my wife is almost as disgusting as I am.
Yeah.
We were discussing this just last night, and you know what she said to me?
What's that?
We should get rid of the 60-second rule.
What's the 60-second rule?
The 60-second rule is you're gross.
Yeah.
You have little hairs in the top of your mouth from eating stuff off the floor, you crazy
that's
person.
crazy.
So it's a 3-second rule, but I think it should be whenever you feel it's safe to eat that thing off the floor.
I think it depends on what it falls onto.
Right, but I'm one of the few people I know had a 3-second rule for drinks. Spill your drink, get a straw out. And not a biodegradable straw either. A real straw for a man.
800-252-1025 or text in 90627. What is a rule that you find ridiculous? A lot of rules, a lot of laws that are really dumb. Another one, Utah used to have a ton of weird alcohol restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
They got rid of the one when you wanted to go to a bar, you had to be friends with a member or be a member of the bar. not lawyers.
Like they were private clubs?
Yes. They got rid of that, but they still have 3.2 beer, only 3.2%. In Maine, you can't have 2 alcoholic drinks in front of you at the same time.
No, you in a lot of places you can't. In probably some places here. You absolutely cannot have 2 drinks in front of you.
Most places have gotten rid of it, because they know that's how people make their money. In Alaska, they've got all sorts of weird drinking rules.
Well, that goes with the same thing as going with the bartender and owner of the bar being liable for you crashing and killing.
Yeah.
So they get sued for gazillions of dollars. So they don't. So 2-for-1s are done. Ladies' nights are done. But they're all coming back now. And I think they should come back. Don't play with me like that.
In Alaska, a couple of states, no happy hour is allowed. You can never change the
nobody's
prices.
happy there.
Oh.
Hey, it's happy hour. Oh, sorry.
What's a rule you find ridiculous? Let's hear from Rob in Louisville.
Hey, Rob.
Good morning again. Well, when I got married, my wife made up a rule that I'm no longer allowed to go to strip clubs. And I think it's lousy.
It's a stupid rule. You used to tell her that Danny said so. It's a terrible rule there. Rob, you work hard, you play hard, you live hard, you are, well, anyway, you should be able to go to a strip club if you wish.
Yeah.
I would go with you.
Would you?
No.
Well, not if Amy won't let me.
He's in Louisville, so it's fair, it's safe
I would
to
go
say.
with you.
Paul, what's a rule you find ridiculous?
I think there's several sports rules that are silly, but the one I think is most ridiculous is the dropped third strike rule. So if the catcher drops the third strike, then he has to throw it to first to complete the out. So like the guy struck out, but he's not really out until you throw the ball to first.
That's a good call. It is a bit odd.
Crazy. And
that is a bit odd.
Yeah, so the first 2 strikes count, but the third strike, if he drops the first strike or the second strike, there's still a strike. But if he drops the third strike, then he has to pick it up and throw it to somebody. Otherwise, the guy's not
It's really
out.
weird. I'm trying to figure out rules where that would make sense. And there's some mathematical equation where that makes sense, but not a good one.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. If you strike out, you should be out. And the other thing is in golf, the scorekeeping rules. Like every player, professional golfers, they're on TV, they've got cameras all around them. They still have to write their own score down in a little notepad. They got to carry a little pencil around.
The caddy doesn't do that?
Nope. The golfer has to keep it themselves. And if they screw their score up, they can be penalized.
Right.
If they make any,
I had no idea. And you're sure you're right?
Yeah, major tournaments, guys are walking around with a little pencil and pad of paper, keeping their own score.
Well, nobody's looking over at the guy carrying the sack around with him and going, 6. It's not happening?
No.
Wow.
And they have to be good at math?
Yeah.
Who knew? Tori, what is a rule you find ridiculous?
I think it's stupid how in football, on a running play, the ball just needs to barely pass the goal line to get a touchdown. And on a passing play, if you don't have 2 feet in the end zone, it doesn't count.
She's right.
Here's the problem with that. That's all reasonable. Those are good rules.
Yeah, if you catch the ball out of bounds.
When you're not in the end zone, you don't get a touchdown with it.
Well, if you just barely, do this little tip, touches the end zone, it's a touchdown.
Can I just tell you that all of our single sports fans out there are listening to Tori explain the rules of football and just going, I like her better.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know it was possible to like Tori better.
Patrick in Bobblehead Land, our buddy who sent us the bobbleheads, he texted into 90627. He says, no loitering is a ridiculous rule. Because, first of all, nobody's just hanging out at a gas station. They're not loitering. They're begging or waiting or something. So make that illegal. Don't put up no loitering signs. Somebody else texted in.
Wait a second. That guy's, what's his name?
Patrick.
We love Patrick.
You're a lunatic, Patrick, because in my attempt to rid the city of homelessness and be kind and charitable to homeless people and get them to get out of the squalor they're in and to some kind of like tiny houses or whatever it is, you need all the rules that you can enforce to get them to move along, get rid of the tent towns, and get them to a place where they can have showers and meals and things like that. No, don't get rid of the loitering rules or the littering rules.
Another text says the 40-hour work week is a ridiculous rule. It's 10 hours too many.
I agree with that one. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, how many hours a week do you work?
You don't even want to know. Way more than 40.
Really?
I do.
What do you do?
This show takes a lot of work, my friend.
All right.
Derek, what is a rule you find?
It seems like it takes about an hour in the morning, 4 hours in the midday, and an hour afterwards.
No.
If you're doing over 40, that's crazy. Stop.
Derek, what's a rule you find ridiculous?
Places that have the self-serve drink stations and then a little handwritten note that says no free refills. If I have the ability to refill my cup, I'm going to do it.
All right. Again, it seems like an okay rule to me.
Fair enough.
Don't tell me I have to wait 30 minutes after I eat to swim. That's ridiculous.
First of all, every one of us has been told different. I was told an hour and somebody else was told 20 minutes.
I'll swim and eat at the same time if I want to, damn it.
That's why it's called a submarine sandwich.
It is.
Stay with us. We've got the news coming up in just a few minutes. News is brought to you by Les Schwab. A waterfront home was destroyed by fire this morning on the west side of Vashon Island. Crews were able to prevent the flames from spreading throughout the surrounding forest, but the house does appear to be a total loss. Blackened, gutted where the home once stood, scorched trees, spots of fire still burning. Thankfully, no immediate reports of injury.
Let me say this is Vashon.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, where were you?
It wasn't me.
You sure?
I have an alibi.
Did you set Vashon
Weren't we
Island?
together, Danny?
No.
Weren't we hanging
and
out?
I was burning down Vashon, so now I know you did it.
A teen riding a bike share bicycle in Seattle reportedly crashed into a tree overnight after its brakes failed, and it's possible someone may have purposefully severed the car's cable brake.
Yeah, I because people are going out of their way to do such damage to those things, and I like them. I mean, I've never ridden one, but I think it's a great idea, and you'll find them in the bottom of the lake. You'll find them; they've been run over by cars intentionally. So it would not surprise me one bit if somebody cut the brakes on those.
They've had reports of this before, but the difference to me is, I mean, Danny, you're right. People are treating those bikes terribly. This is intentionally harming another person. You're not just throwing that bike up on a lamppost and finding it funny. This is someone who's going to ride their bike down one of Seattle's hills and potentially do serious damage. So this kid, they do believe somebody intentionally did it. He's 18 years old, in stable condition, thankfully, but the investigation is on.
Oh, I'm glad you said that the poor kid is in stable condition at the hospital before I yelled shenanigans. So now I say no shenanigans. This poor 18-year-old boy certainly didn't cut his own brakes for insurance money or anything like that. It'd be a terrible thing to even think. Poor kids in the hospital.
How about some good news in the news?
Love that.
According to the Washington Wine Commission, love those guys, this is going to be a fantastic harvest for Washington wines. They said it looks like it's going to be another very good vintage.
Isn't all the wine going to taste just a little smoky?
Well, that was one of the big questions, whether or not all the wildfire smoke would have an impact. They
Is
said
that good if it tastes a little smoky?
Not by actual smoke, I don't think.
They said it doesn't usually impact grapes, that in some instances...
Yeah, you wash them off, right?
In some instances, the smoke can actually keep vineyards cooler, which will keep the vines producing. Also, good news for those of you who drink beer. According to
Those grapes are okay too. Beer grapes are going to be all right.
The hops didn't burn?
Well, Danny, your favorite place in Washington is
Yakima!
Yeah.
Tebow!
Yakima Valley is the hops capital of the world.
Yeah. Hops a Dave from Guam, guys.
And they said it looks like it's going to be a very good season for them as well.
Cool.
High quality, not too much problems from pests. 75% of the country's hops come from the Yakima Valley.
I had no idea. That's amazing.
Really is the hops capital of the world. Your favorite place.
Like, we say that, and I think, a lot of the hops come from the Yakima Valley, but just last night I was watching Evening Magazine, I think, and they were in Ireland and touring the Guinness Brewery and talking about how they use Yakima hops at the Guinness Brewery. Like,
amazing.
really, we provide hops to everywhere, all over the world.
Yep. Well, as we've been talking about throughout the morning, this is 9/11, September 11th today. A lot of memorials happening around the country. And something a little bit unusual happened this week. A subway station that has been closed for 17 years. The subway station was destroyed and buried under the rubble of 9/11, reopened.
Wow.
This is the Cortlandt Street subway station, right underneath the World Trade Center. It is now officially open for business. $182 million it cost to reconstruct and a new building, but also the ventilation system, the tunnel had to be
Should
redone.
have thought when we were, attacked, unprovoked, in my opinion, that we'd still be dealing with the dilemma 17 years later, and more so Firemen keep dying.
Yep.
First responders keep dying. It's like it's a more horrific attack than it appeared. I realized because I watched it live when it happened, it's hard to imagine anything being worse than that appears, but you couldn't foreshadow. You couldn't say, oh, you don't know. The drama's not done. This is going to continue to be terrible.
Every year, more first responders have been diagnosed with cancer and are dying from cancer from that day. The Winklevoss twins are
I
in the
love
news.
those guys.
They have won regulatory approval for new cryptocurrency that is pegged to the U.S. dollar. This is a Bitcoin-like digital currency called the Gemini dollar. It will allow users to trade dollars on a blockchain-based network, maintaining one-to-one parity with the dollar, the greenback
Then
dollar.
why do you need it?
Why do you need it?
If it trades exactly the same as the dollar, why don't you just use the dollar?
Why do you need Bitcoin?
Is it
Because
anonymous?
the Bitcoin made people rich. Nothing goes right on the dollar with Bitcoin.
They're calling these stable coins. They're calling it a new class of digital currency, prices that are fixed to the price of currency or a commodity like gold. They have won approval from the Department of Financial Services. Now, Bitcoin, we know, has gone up and down, but people are still saying that digital currency is the wave of the future.
I believe it, to be honest with you. But also, I think it's a wave of, and I don't mind because I want to legalize all vice. But a lot of that cryptocurrency is so you can be under the radar in what you purchase. So if you want to buy Chinese ecstasy, which they will sell you in droves, and what they do because they're clever, they send it to you in 3 different bags, and it's just the components to make it. Nothing is illegal about those bags. It's when you combine them that they become ecstasy. What you're going to do is you're going to order that and pay for it in Bitcoin and the like. That's what I think will happen.
Well, I mean, if these people who are starting this early on are correct, then it's the future of, Danny, like what you say you want. You want to have a barcode on your hand. You want to be chipped. There's no way for us to do any of that sort of futuristic life if we are still using paper currency.
Why?
Because everything will be digital.
Because when they scan that chip, it doesn't take a dollar bill out of your hand.
No, it takes one out of my bank account, just like BitCurrency does.
That's what they're saying, is if you eliminated paper money and just had all digital currency, then you wouldn't have to.
But I paid for a taxi.
You had
last
to put
night.
that money in your account.
Right. You have to own the Bitcoin. You have to possess it to trade it.
It's virtual. You don't own. I mean, you don't touch it. They don't ship Bitcoins to your house.
No,
and you put them in your safe.
My bank account's not in my house. I'm just saying I don't fully understand it. I'm not telling you anything about it. I don't get it, but I get that it exists, and you have to have some of it to buy anything with it.
Right. It's just people trying to think of the future where everything will be digital, nothing will be tangible. So if you went to a bank right now and said, I want $50,000 cash, well, let's say $5,000 cash, you could get it. In the future,
not at my bank, not from my account.
In the future, it will go to your phone. It'll go to your computer. That there will be no tangible money. So we'll see if that really will be the future or not.
I think it might. Canada's got a good start. They outlawed pennies. I thought that was weird, and sure enough, worked just fine for them.
A burglar decided before burglaring to have a couple of drinks. Well, he got caught burglaring. Cops were called to the scene. He decided to steal a bicycle to try to evade police. Turns out you don't drive a bike very well after drinking 24 bottles of beer and a bottle of Jägermeister.
No, you do not ride a bicycle well after that.
You might think you're riding well. Like, look at me, I'm the best bicyclist.
I don't know why I'm bleeding.
Now, they asked why he had perpetrated this crime, why he was drinking so much. He said, I just got out of jail and I got really bored.
Well, guess what? Guess where you're going. So, was he inside the property that he was burglarizing?
No, they were able to go back to his house, and that's where they found on his bed a jewelry box, a camcorder, and a watch, all stuff that he had stolen. So he got caught, tried to get away.
By the way, bicycle, not a bad way to try and avoid the cops, to be honest with you.
Oh, you can go places
depending on where
can.
you are. If you're downtown, like hardcore downtown, you have a pretty good chance. I tried taking a hard right at Post Alley, doing 35 miles an hour. People screamed and threw their chairs up in the air. But if I'd have been on a 10-speed, I'd have been gone.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to be on that bike trying to be gone, don't drink 24 beers, don't drink a bottle of Jaeger, and don't try to take a flat screen TV with you.
Yeah, all good ideas.
Now, individually, you could do each of those things, right? Just not all together.
New York State Police have shared a story about a traffic stop. This is state police that say 2 troopers stopped a woman driving a car, and there was a 3-year-old also in the vehicle, not in a car seat.
Right.
They said, this is not good. They're questioning the driver. While doing so, the little 3-year-old reaches under the seat and hands the trooper a baggie full of weed and a pipe.
Well, that's terrible parenting.
Oh, I thought it was a terrible kid. He's trying to
Kid ratted out mom.
Trying to bribe. He's trying to bribe the cop. Hey, man,
Fair enough.
let my mom go.
Well, the cops viewed it as the kid turning in mom.
That's how I kind of view it.
Yeah. Well, guess where mom is?
Jail. With that other guy.
Mom's behind bars right now, and the kid is with relatives.
I would never feel the same about that kid.
Right.
Like, I get out, I make bail. Look at you, little bastard, and I move on with my day. But around his 8th birthday, and I still hate him, I think he's going to have to rethink his movements with that around.
Yeah.
Now, Danny, I know this past week you were in Italy. To be honest, I can't believe you weren't in Bentonville, Arkansas.
I should have been. I meant to. But they were having that festival thing.
That's where they were having the festival thing.
Wow, I totally just took a shot in the dark.
Oh, I was thinking Walmart. That's I think the headquarters for Walmart.
I went, should have been at where? Festival. Okay, festival.
I know Arkansas is where Walmart is. I don't know if it's Bentonville, if it is.
Also home of the Razorbacks.
It's home of the 7th annual
Arkansas.
World Championship Squirrel Cook-Off.
Really?
Cook-off?
Cook-off.
Yeah, that's why.
They cook squirrels.
Everybody cooks squirrels, don't they?
I don't, no. And I'm kind of weird.
If I said right now, and don't, if you've ever cooked a squirrel, call me right now. The lines would blow up, I think.
Somebody would call, yeah.
Somebody would call and say, I'm a big squirrel cooker.
Yeah, in the past, you have said you want to try squirrel,
I do.
and then we do get texts and emails of people offering.
I think that there were people on tribal land offering, because I think outside of that, it's illegal here.
No, to hunt squirrels?
Yep.
Yeah, to eat them for sure. It's what they were telling us. The people who were offering to cook you squirrel
Said I'm committing a crime when I eat Rocky?
They said you'd have to come visit me on tribal land where I can legally do it.
Well, it's got to be illegal for a reason, then maybe I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, in this case, it's legal because it's Arkansas.
And they're having a competition?
You know it.
I don't think this is that rare, and I'm not talking about the meat.
No, you want to eat it.
No,
well
I think
done.
it's a thing in all sorts of parts of the world.
Well, in Iowa, another squirrel story.
See?
Now, it's a certain time of year in Iowa that you can hunt squirrel. So on the first day of Iowa's squirrel hunting season, September 1st, brothers decided to go out squirrel hunting. They went to the Brushy Creek State Recreational Area, and they were hunting squirrel.
By the way, that's a really good accent. I don't know if there's money in doing that, but that was really good.
I could keep going. It would get very annoying. One brother shot a squirrel, hit his other brother.
So if he'd have hit the squirrel, that would have stopped the bullet from shooting his brother?
Yeah, it happens a lot, these hunting mishaps, but they said the dude just got in front of him. They were using 22s.
He'll be all right.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt too much, a 22?
No, to kill you dead. That's what the Mafia's big gun is. Double tap behind the ear with a 22 because it won't exit. It'll go in through the skull, but it doesn't have enough force to go back out, so it just bangs all around inside your head. Makes you into gravy.
I'm guessing that's not what happened, or they'd probably just call it murder.
Yeah.
This was an accident. They said squirrel hunters have got to be very careful. They said last year they had 20,000 hunters harvest 100,000 squirrels.
So that's 5 squirrels each.
That's a lot of squirrel. And Iowa's squirrel hunting season only runs through January 31st. Now here, Paul, did you get any information about our?
It does appear to be illegal to hunt most squirrels. There's maybe one kind of squirrel that you can hunt, but most squirrels you can't. And that one that you can hunt, the eastern gray squirrel, people are saying I would not eat that. It's the rat of the squirrel world.
Yeah, but I'd eat rat.
You would.
Half the world, but a good portion of the world eats rat.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure that you can hunt that one.
Thailand, Vietnam, there's a whole thing for
I've never
rats.
seen rat on menus, but then again, I've never seen squirrel on menus.
Right.
And I'm sure, Danny, you will be inundated with offers if you would like to try some.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not going anywhere to eat a rat. I'm not like going to you got to come to
Squirrel.
Olympia.
You're
This
just gonna
same
eat at your
thing.
house.
Yeah, no, you have to deliver it right here to this radio station between 6 and 9.
Please don't do that. No.
Nah, bring it on.
No.
Yeah, I'll let you in.
Minnesota. A bungling burglar was nabbed after his pickup truck got stuck in a large pile of manure during the getaway. So this
How
guy
big is the manure pile?
this big.
Yeah, to stop a truck? A lot of crap.
Yeah. So he gets busted. It was a truck. It was a pickup truck. It was not a bicycle. There was so much because it was a farm. The pickup truck was still on the property, stuck in manure. The guy gets out of the truck, tries to evade the cops on foot. Guess what happens if your truck is stuck in manure?
Your friends don't want to come help you?
You get stuck in manure.
Oh, right, that too.
They were able to take him into custody and said that police vehicle is going to be out of commission for a while because it still smells.
Wow. What kind of manure?
Cow.
Yeah, that's going to stink.
Yeah.
Ew.
Why did I ask what kind of manure? Is like there a kind that doesn't stink besides mine?
I don't think so. Rabbit is not besides yours.
What sound is that? How are you even making that?
That's like looking at the face that you're making is even worse.
Yeah,
than the
I'm
sound.
not sure what the upside of that is. Oh, remember we talked about your lipstick this morning? Well, that's fine. The rest of your face is crazy right now. I actually hurt my chest laughing.
Makeshift crack pipe vending machine has been discovered in New York.
Huh?
The pictures of this are pretty epic, and I do not advocate smoking crack, but it's pretty funny. Long Island, New York, officials were called to the scene. A lot of people called and said, there's a vending machine on the side of the road. It's dispensing crack pipes. They're not sure who did it. They said these appear to be homemade crack pipes made out of pens, but they are fully usable.
How much?
$2 in quarters.
Not terrible.
Yeah.
It's a
You
big-
make them with a pen. It isn't a pen because you'll melt it. You have to keep a constant blowtorch heat on crack to get all of it as it turns into oil. That's you burn the oil, not the rock. You melt the rock.
Or so you've heard.
So I've heard. Well, I was smoking crack. Wrong guy. Everybody knows about me, but thank you. But if you want a makeshift crack pipe, I can probably do it for you in under 5 seconds. Certainly under 10.
Wow.
I wonder if that's what they're selling because it would cost me less than a penny.
Yeah, police said that these were actual pens that write, but the tubular section of the pens can be used as a crack pipe. And even though it's a pen and pens are technically legal, you cannot sell drug paraphernalia without supervision. And they have no idea who set up the crack pipe vending machine.
So it's somebody being funny, right? Is somebody
As
thinking
I
they're
said, I
wacky?
found it funny, even though crack really isn't a laughing matter. It is.
No, crack is whack.
No. Crack can be funny. It's when you're out of crack that things stop being humorous.
Aw. News this morning brought to you by Les Schwab. When we come back, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
You know, I've waited not even
Congratulations.
that patiently.
I'll tell you her name.
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
Better be Danielle Bonaduce.
A very interesting update to one of the Cosby Show actors who is back in the
I
spotlight.
hate this guy.
We will tell you all about the latest Seahawks news next. It's not all good news, but you need to hear it, so don't go anywhere. Starting with some music news, Dave Grohl continues to be just the coolest, nicest guy in the business.
He's the, what's that super rich guy that's taking over the world? Bezos.
Yeah.
He's the Bezos of rock and roll.
Yeah.
Well, Dave Grohl went to a bar, partied with fans.
So Dave Grohl walks into a bar.
Yep. He's partying. He is having a good time, taking pictures with fans, just really having a good time. The tab shows up. It's $333.
Yeah.
Well, he decides to tip $333, bringing the grand total to
666.
Oh, Mark of the Beast.
rock and roll. So yeah, he tipped 100%.
So, but yeah, I like it. I like everything about that guy. Back in the days when I was famous and you go to a bar and people like cared about you and would buy you drinks or something, I was waiting for a turn because most of that eventually turns unpleasant. Somebody just
really?
decides they hate you now for no good reason. And if you stick around, I'll give you reason. But yeah, I thought there was going to be some bad thing happening to Dave Grohl and the world could not continue.
It will be number 2,646.
Yeah.
A star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
I appreciate it. Plus, I want to be the one that you said it's number 2,000. I guess it's number 2.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you. I appreciate
Well
you.
deserved.
No. No, sorry.
What do you mean?
It's not going to you.
Well, you can't take it away from him.
It was never given to him.
I just gave it to him.
Is Sean the IT guy?
Yeah.
Is that what he does? You know Sean the IT
Sean the
guy?
web guy.
Yeah.
You know that guy? That guy said he's got the power to get me a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and he's gonna. He got Ellen K one.
He didn't
Here's
have the
thing.
power to fix
Who's
our
Ellen
printer.
K? Is would
I
be
don't
the
know.
Fix our printer.
Good. Well point. Good point.
This star is going to Carrie Underwood.
All right.
Carrie Underwood, country star.
Yeah. Better known as Harry Underwear. That's the thing.
Really? I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
You did not know that?
No.
The kids call her Harry Underwear? Shocker, she wasn't wearing underwear.
She won American Idol back in 2005 and has seen a rise to the top that has not taken any dips. She has, 7 Grammys, 6 CMAs, 14 ACMs, 12 American Music Awards.
I heard she tore her ACM and can't play next season.
She will be getting this star on the 20th in front of Capitol Records, 11:30.
Oh, that's a great spot in front of Capitol Records. You know, I think the best spot, honest to God, is in front of my house, literally. Well, a block down because it doesn't continue.
In Queen Anne?
No, where I still can't sell my house because of the crash. But that's where they start. The first ones are right there, about, 100 feet down from my house. I love one there.
Yeah.
Well, Danny, you know how hard it can be after a hit TV series. If you don't get acting roles, you start to feel washed up. You need to find a job, any job.
Yep.
Right? So
All true.
For you, it was mainly the 1980s were difficult times, working at restaurants, doing whatever.
Whatever,
you
security
could.
guard.
Yeah.
Security guard with a gun. That was so weird.
Well, last week, one of the actors on The Cosby Show was thrust back into the spotlight, much to his chagrin. And now he's opening up a little bit about it and what caused all of this hubbub. So this is the guy who played the eldest daughter's husband. The actor's name is Jeffrey Owens, and he was spotted at a New Jersey Trader Joe's. Somebody recognized him, took his picture. That picture went viral.
Okay, at a Trader Joe's, that's the story. So he was working there, right?
He was working
Yeah,
at Trader Joe's.
Yeah, he was working the register.
Yep. And he got, trying to think of how to phrase it. He got job shamed.
I think it's a ridiculous expression, but that's what they said in the papers, job shamed or work shamed, something like that.
Yeah. And
where's the shame, man? You have a job.
well, that's what he said. He didn't feel the shame. The internet was saying, you know, that's so lame. I can't believe you're working at Trader Joe's. And he has said, Trader Joe's has been a great place to work. But he said what happened to lead to this was Bill Cosby's sex scandal.
Oh, yeah.
He was making a lot of loot on the reruns.
Who was?
Jeffrey Owens, the
Wow.
actor. He was making good money, but then the reruns were pulled. All of his residual checks disappeared. He said it really impacted me financially.
On a side note, did you know that Rerun is dead? Isn't that sad?
Yeah,
Hey,
that is
hey.
sad.
Guy's dead.
He said as soon as those
Okay,
checks
everybody was
stopped,
watching Danny TV. Like, you just get treated to these extra little things because not only was there a hey,
Yeah.
there was the little dance
The
that went
rerun
with
dance. Everybody knows the rerun dance.
it. Facebook.com/KZOK FM if you want to watch it live. Otherwise, it'll be back up on our YouTube page later today.
Right, now back to you in the
Can you
studio.
just isolate that, Tori?
Yeah.
Make that
The
into
rerun dance.
You got it. All right, so this guy, Jeffrey Owens, said he was impacted financially, and it made a big difference. He said, I need to do something, and the answer was Trader Joe's. It wound up being a wonderful situation. I get to yeah. But I think a lot of people didn't think of...
Well, isn't he quitting?
Well, he's kind of being thrust back into the spotlight. I don't know that he's quitting. I hadn't heard that.
Oh, I heard that he's taking a year off to pursue other interests. You have
'Cause
other
he's
interests
getting-
besides being the cash register dude at Trader Joe's?
No,
I'm
so-
sure he's getting offers for
That's
you know,
what I
people-
No, he
heard.
pulled Tyler Perry. Is that guy's name?
Yeah.
Pulled him right out. Gave him apart 10 episode contract for
Right,
one of
so
his
if
shows.
anything, he's probably taking a leave of absence from Trader Joe's until he needs it again when the next job dries up.
At 10 episodes of a new show, we're going to pay. He won't have to go back
Yeah,
to work for a few
good for him.
years. Yeah, good. God bless him. I did the same thing. And in essence, although I had to get in trouble, then I wish I could find it. The cover of the National Enquirer had a big picture of me looking terrible. And it said Danny Partridge. Didn't even use my real name. It said Danny Partridge, dead, broken, starving. His friends help him eat.
Oh.
Aw.
Yeah, or help him get food, whatever it was. But then my phone rang, and everybody and their brother, nobody wanted to give me a job, but everybody wanted me to come be a lunatic at their radio station.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I started in Chicago.
Yeah, I hadn't heard if Jeffrey Owens had accepted Tyler Perry's offer and had stepped away from Trader Joe's, but I think logic would indicate he would.
Yeah.
It would indicate
Pay a
that.
little more. On Friday, the highly anticipated Hello Kitty Grand Cafe will open its doors in Irvine, California, and it will be the first American Hello Kitty restaurant to open up that's not a pop-up.
Is it for kids or for perverts?
It is
Or
for
perverted kids?
it is for kids during the day,
Yeah.
and after 5 p.m.
See?
it transforms into a cocktail lounge for guests
my
21
God.
and over.
Told ya, it's pervy. It's pervy town.
It's weird for sure.
It
Hello
is.
Kitty has a brand of wines they've had for a while, so they will be selling that at night. And
Yeah.
it's
They'll be selling their
girls love Hello
sexy
Kitty.
underwear. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They sell sexy underwear and bra things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost, it's not quite the brony, but it's close.
Yeah, never been my thing, Hello Kitty, but for many people, this is a must visit.
I think I may have Hello Kitty underwear on right at this moment.
Don't show us.
Well, then I can say anything I want.
Let's take a look at sports.
Sports.
Sports brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. The Mariners were off yesterday. Resume action at home, 7-10 against the San Diego Padres. Marco Gonzalez versus Brian Mitchell. The Seattle Storm, the WNBA Finals. Game 3 happens tomorrow at the Washington Mystics. Tip-off is at 5. We currently lead 2-0. Go Storm!
Go Storm.
It's kind of a bummer that they're going to win it on the road.
Yeah.
Like maybe they'll let the Mystics win a couple so they can come home and win the championship at home.
I kind of like your thinking.
It's not
but
like the great strategy probably, but
I
it
think
would
a
be
sweep-
fun.
Sweep on the road would be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be all right. It's bad that they're winning on the road. No. Win the whole thing on the road. That's fine with us.
Well, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, Doug Baldwin will be missing a good portion of the season. He is reported to have a grade 2 partial MCL tear in his right knee. We are waiting an update from the team, but presently it looks like we'll be out with Doug Baldwin for a while. 2 nights last night for Monday Night Football. The first saw the youngest quarterback to play in the modern age to start a game. That was 21-year-old Sam Darnold. On his first career pass, the ball soars through the air for like 2 feet and then a pick six.
It was a completion. Yeah.
It's the wrong guy.
It's the wrong team.
Way
but
to be
still.
optimistic, Paul.
Well, you think you're in the national spotlight. It's Monday Night Football. You're the youngest quarterback in the modern era. That could have ended it for him. But no.
No, and he came back and he did real well, didn't he?
He did fantastic. 48-17.
Yeah.
The terrible New York Jets beating the pretty mediocre Detroit Lions. The second game saw the LA Rams walk all over the Oakland Raiders. 33-13. The team was booed off the field. It was also John Gruden's return to the NFL sideline following 9 years on ESPN.
Now, by the way, is Marshawn Lynch on that team?
He did really well.
Did
He
you
did-
see the footage of him? I didn't see the whole game. I did not see this happen until this morning on the news. He was trying to get in for a touchdown, and a whole team and part of his team jumped on him, and he carried them all into the end zone.
Beast mode.
Really impressive. For a guy that kind of bothers me, just don't tell him. That was pretty heroic.
Yeah.
On Sunday, the Cleveland Browns did not lose.
What?
But they did not win.
They did not win.
So I don't know.
No,
if you
nobody
know.
owes anybody any money right now.
That was one of the most exciting, terrible football games I've seen in recent times.
What was the score? It was 7-7?
The final?
Yeah, I think it was 7-7.
No.
How exciting is that?
Derek, what was the final of the Cleveland Browns-Pittsburgh game? So it went into overtime. It was pouring rain. The kicker had a chance to win it in overtime for the Steelers. Then the Browns had a chance. The kicker, they both missed. It was a pretty terrible football game, but the Cleveland Browns did not lose. Now, you remember Bud Light has installed a series of locked victory fridges.
Yeah, victory fridges. They can't open it yet, right?
Some people thought maybe they would unlock.
Because that's about as close as the Browns will come to a victory.
See,
like
some
for the
of us-
Browns, not losing is a victory.
Some of us, with Zimbabwean dollars to spare, think that you're barking up the wrong tree, mister.
Why is that? I said the Browns will not win a game, and
Right,
they
I
still
said
have
they
not
will.
won a game. Yeah.
Tied at 21.
21-21.
Yeah, it's
almost
the same.
7-7.
Almost
Same
the same.
thing. Yeah.
Well, up next, the Browns head to New Orleans to play the Saints. Now, the Saints also played terribly on Sunday.
Saints suck.
At home, I don't know what's going to happen, but some people were thinking maybe those fridges will open. But no, they said a tie is technically a loss.
It's technically a loss.
It's like if you
It's
play.
not a win.
It's not a win.
Right.
Yeah.
If you play
But like in boxing world, it's a separate thing by itself.
Yeah.
As a draw.
And it will be. Their record will wind up being 5-8-1. My math is
No,
off.
they're not going to win 5 games.
I told you they're winning 5 games this season.
Yes, you did.
5 games. They will open that fridge eventually. There is a very peculiar story also involving the Foo Fighters.
All right.
In sports. The NCAA has pretty strict rules about what their players can do, college players. Kentucky officials discovered a violation when they looked at the Foo Fighters pass list for their show, which was at the Rupp Arena. That's where the colleges play.
The Rump Arena?
Rupp.
What do you think happens at the Rump Arena, Paul?
I don't know, same thing that happens in college.
Probably.
Yeah.
And the military, maybe. Submarines, for sure.
So they took a look at this list and they said, Steve's name looks familiar. Look at Joe and Bob and Bill. They recognized a bunch of names.
Well, those are pretty common names.
Yeah,
I would
it could've
think
been anybody.
Steve does look familiar.
But if it said Steve number 23, that's a thing.
Turns out there were 4 Kentucky soccer players that played a game of pickup with the band.
Yeah.
Turns out you can't do that.
You
So the Foo
cannot
Fighters
play
are
a
in
pickup
town.
game with the Foo Fighters.
They're like, hey, you want to play? Like, yeah, let's play. They played the Foo Fighters.
I bet there's not a rule specifically
No, there's
against the
sure
Foo
not.
Fighters.
And I don't think you could get even specific about strangers on the street. I don't think it's a real rule. I think they're making it up.
They're pretty big on any kind of like team activities outside of the scheduled
Correct.
team. Yeah, like if you go play a game, even people have been in trouble for playing like charity events because they were outside of what.
But that's
was
an
the
organized
scheduled-
event.
right?
Dave Grohl saying, hey, want to play?
Any activities you are prohibited from doing.
What's the sport they were playing? Soccer.
They were playing
And
soccer.
what's the activity? What defines
So,
an activity?
they were playing soccer outside of their
I
scheduled
get
soccer
that. What if they were
practices
all
and
doing
games.
math
Then
together
then
outside?
I think they can do that.
So they can do some
Right.
activity. What I'm doing, I'm trying to punch a hole in this for
Yeah.
them for their legal defense because this is insane.
They can't practice or play that sport outside of their scheduled
Correct.
practices and games.
Oh, I would be willing to bet money some real life lawyer is going to punch all
I don't
sorts of holes
need
in
a
this.
lawyer, but here's what
Sure. Why would you not sue that school for doing this to you?
they are being forced to sit out 2 future supervised team activities, which could include practices or meetings. So some might consider that a reward.
Somebody might. Somebody might. This is very ridiculous. Those guys that are missing their game and something like that should absolutely. They should hire Rick Jones and divorce themselves from that school.
So the reasoning behind it, I get. It's so that coaches don't just make you practice a whole bunch more than is good for the student,
right.
you know? But
I have a thing in my contract says I can't be funny anywhere but here.
Right.
And I read it wrong, and I've been doing it with I'm not funny here, but everywhere else.
3 months after ideas, voting, and speculation, Madison's minor league baseball team has announced the name that has won.
Baseball McBaseball face.
baseball McBaseball face.
I was thinking Teamy McTeam face, but
right.
all of those would have worked.
Batty McBat face.
The Rocket City Trash Pandas.
Oh, the trash
Oh,
pandas.
that's a raccoon, right? I
Yeah.
learned that from Derek.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Back when he was speaking to us. I learned that, yeah.
the good old days.
Derek actually
Yeah.
left to go play for the.
Yeah.
It looks like Madison's nickname is
Wow.
Rocket City.
Cool.
Why?
Why
Do they-
not?
Do they build
Do
rockets
they have
there?
rockets
Maybe
there?
back in the olden days they did.
The Rocket City Trash Pandas. I
Yep.
want to go see a game.
I like it, yeah.
Second place was the Thunder Sharks.
Thunder Sharks.
Sure.
I love the next one. The Moon Possums.
What the
Well,
hell
that
is a moon
just seems
possum?
to. It's a possum
Yeah.
on the moon, Paul.
Oh, I see.
What are we missing about Madison?
It's the moon opossums. They're missing
Right,
the
that is exactly right, man.
The Space Chimps and the Comet Jockeys. So what are we missing about Madison?
Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Oh, they're all drunk.
Yeah, very
That's
good.
it.
And
They
we're
drink more
cheeseheads.
alcohol than the rest of the United States combined.
Maybe that's where
You say that like it's a thing.
The state of Wisconsin drinks more alcohol than anyone else.
You're saying that for
he's
real?
right.
That's for
No,
real.
He's right.
No, it can't though. No. Really?
It's
A
totally
slight
right.
exaggeration when I said the rest of the U.S. combined, but more than any other state.
Oh,
State of
so
Wisconsin, yeah.
you were totally lying to me, just like I thought you
They
were.
drink more than any other state.
Right,
Yeah,
which
that's
I
true.
knew that.
But does Madison make all of our space equipment or something? Why are they all space
I would hope
names?
not. They're all drunk.
Can you do this?
what
That's the
doing
Madison.
now?
Hey, if you guys aren't watching this radio show, you're missing out. That was the Madison
I
right
thought
there.
that was the Charleston.
Coming up, the Foxtrot. Feeling pretty good about today's show.
We might have another semi-famous face running for president. Yesterday, we told you Kanye West is seriously considering running for president, and now President Oscar de la Hoya.
Really?
He says he is very seriously considering running for president.
Is there any chance he's an idiot, though?
Why?
I don't know. 'Cause I'm a big fan. Don't get me wrong. Just like a lot of people are wearing big sombreros saying they want to be president. I would think, oh, that person's ridiculous. He's done so much with his life. Maybe he could do it. So I was just wondering if he's serious or.
I think
just,
most people think he's stupid for, like, why would...
Here's the thing. Do you know how many times, even since we've been together, Sarah, I've been asked to run for president. Gary Coleman did it one day and got a whole bunch of press, and everybody comes up and says, oh, you got to run for president. And it's a stupid publicity stunt that one of the few I don't care for. But if he was serious, he's a gazillionaire success story.
Well, I guess most people think, like, what qualifications does he have? But our current one didn't have a whole lot of qualifications.
Nice.
He is having an exploratory team take a look, test the waters, and in the meantime, he is promoting the Canelo GGG rematch.
Triple G. Yeah.
I don't know who that is. You know, I'm not a boxer.
Golovkin. That's who that is. It's going to be a
Who?
big fight this Saturday night. A Russian guy. I think. No, he's from one of that countries that surprised me. It looked great. Kazakhstan, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So they had a fight, and they're just both superheroes, and it came to a draw, which is super rare, especially for that kind of publicity. So the next fight is tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Saturday night.
Yeah, Saturday night, the Triple G Canelo rematch. And then Oscar de la Hoya may announce he is running for the president.
Right on.
Wow.
And that was sports, which is brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys at 1-800-DUI-AWAY. This has been a fantastic show, but tomorrow will be even better.
Even more fantastic.
Than this? Better than this? What dances will I do tomorrow?
7:20, we'll play this C word. You can win a pair of tickets and food vouchers for Crafts and Cars happening Saturday at the Evergreen Speedway. 7:50, Paul's daughter Jelly Bean will arrive on the show with Jelly Bean's joke of the week, and that's just some of the shenanigans happening tomorrow.
It's a lot of show. If you're going to put it in a bread basket, I don't think it's going to fit. But I'll tell you this: Kanye West, no, I'm not voting for him for president. No, he's a crazy person.
Oscar de la Hoya?
Oscar de la Hoya. Nay, I say nay. I say nay. But you give me some Steve Slayton as the commander in chief.
Yeah.
We're living in a safer, more prosperous country, and good looking. Steve Slayton's coming up in just a couple of minutes. We should get out of his way. So, bye.